We finally have a topic. I know we've been stressed, haven't been able to figure things out, but the maker has given us something great. Ahsoka Tano, man. Whole episode, dude. We'll go over everything.
Whoa. Hold up. That's not what we talked about, Rene. Don't you remember?
Dude, we finally have a topic. I know we've been stressed, we haven't been able to figure things out, but the maker has given us a topic. Gran Turismo. Think about it. We got the vroom vrooms, we got the zoom zooms, we got the It's got everything, dude. Action packed. My ears were bleeding afterwards. It's gonna be the topic for this week's episode.
Rene, is this true?
Who is stressed out here? I'm not stressed out. You guys are the ones that stressed out. Every single week I have to hear you guys, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about? I don't know what we're going to talk about. But we go in there and we give it 110% every single goddamn time. All right? Okay. Maybe I am a little stressed.
So you turned him against me.
You've already done that yourself.
You will not take this from me, Nick.
Your anger and your lust for power have already done that. You have allowed this need for speed to twist your mind into the very thing that you swore to destroy.
Don't lecture me, Nick.
Stop it, Nick! That's not even a force. You just licked your hand.
Turn the lightsaber off. You lose.
According to who?
Jedi Tech.
Hold up. I'm going to deal with you in a second. Renee, shut the f*** up already. Well, excuse me. Trying to add a little drama to your scene here. You know what? You complete your lesson.
Let's try to force choke us.
Just a little bit.
I think so.
Oh, God. You know what? I'm out of here.
Recording at 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California, at Undercity Comics, Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 161.
No, it's 162.
Is it 160?
62.
162. My name is Nick Flair,
Renee.
This is Bryan.
and welcome to the show.
As you can tell, we're recording this really not later than that.
No, it's not late, but we're recording it in Willie, California. Willie, California, dude.
I don't know why I called it Willie.
Willie, dude.
Willie's
Willie.
Wonderland.
I didn't
Willie's
know.
Wonderland.
That's great. Good job, dude. Welcome back, Nick,
I had a
dude. You're back to
stroke.
your old ways.
Dude, I had a stroke. That's what I did. I'm trying to figure out if I'm smelling toast right now.
It wasn't me last week that had the stroke. It was actually Nick.
So to talk about last week's skit, so tell the audience how much time we had to put into you saying Spanish throughout the whole scene.
So
how much preparation?
The last scene was probably
We had to do that
10
over
takes.
10 times.
It was
Yeah.
enough time for me to go take a dump and come back.
Yeah, he was in the bathroom the whole time, and me and Andy were just like Dang it.
Well, because I wanted to say
you were saying something.
Hispano.
Yeah.
But I kept saying España.
Which was.
It's Spain.
You were saying Spain community.
Instead of Hispanic.
Hispanic community.
Yeah. So I was saying Spain community when I
Mhm.
meant to say Hispanic community.
And then I thought it was funny because I guess because Monica was listening to it and she noticed that you were saying something about embrace. Because you were saying embrace, but it's hug.
Yeah.
And it's hug. And then I guess like she went to her mom, she went to both her sisters, and she was asking like,
Went down the
she went down the
ladder.
list, and and everybody was like, I don't know how to say that.
Embrace, right?
I mean,
because I don't think there's a way of saying it in
part
Spanish.
of it's my fault because I wrote the script.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what couldn't translate into Spanish or not.
That's not your fault.
Yeah.
It's more of like a
That's right. It's the translator's fault. They couldn't.
no one could do their freaking job right,
Yeah.
so everyone failed us. You know.
No,
So
in all fairness, Brian's mom, Andy, and your sister all did really well.
Yeah.
And then Monica also helped us out for a little
Yeah.
bit too.
we had to go.
We
through,
had a
4
group,
different channels.
Yeah.
of, like
several people
Yeah.
were talking to us about like
so my
this is how to
family
say something.
was the one that just like translated it first.
yeah.
Then Monica was confirming that everything was
Mhm.
not offensive
Yeah.
in a form of way. And then Andy was here to make sure that I was speaking it correctly.
She
Then
also,
we
she also
found
gave you
out-
like a little bit of slang too.
Yeah.
Then we found out also is that it's also how you say it. Your tone is how it translates as well too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because apparently a certain way you said something
Yeah.
meant gay.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "No, you can't say it like that because
Yeah.
then you're
But it's
calling
the same
him
freaking word. It's
It's the
like,
same
because
word,
then
no, but
yeah,
you can't say
you can't
it
say
like,
it like
that.
because then you're calling him a homosexual." And then I was like, I mean, I guess that would work. Like
Yeah. It was interesting. I mean,
Spanish is fun.
granted, I'll be honest, I felt like I could have come up with a better ending for the skit, but overall the making of it was fun to do.
the making of it was
Yeah.
fun. This skit was also fun.
The
to
skit
make.
was fun, yeah.
Yeah. So at the time of recording, we finished one half of the skit. We
Yeah.
actually have to go out and record the second half
Mhm.
later tonight. So that's going to be interesting. But before we move on to main topics of the show today, let's get formalities out of the way. KeepingUpWithTheNerds.com for all the up-to-date information. Follow us on our socials, Instagram, Facebook, X, and Threads. So that way you guys can keep up whenever we post new episodes of the podcast. Whoa, that's actually smart.
Yeah.
Follow us on YouTube at Keeping Up With The Nerds. Oh, no, I can't because, my temporary crown fell off right at the show. Again. Follow us on YouTube at Keeping Up With The Nerds so that way you guys can see the skits that only premiere on YouTube. And if you guys are on the road working out or going for a walk and you guys can't be seeing stuff on the phone, don't worry, guys. We post all our podcasts on audio platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Podbean. I'm actually going to be doing something different today. So I started adding timestamps in the bottom of the description. I don't know if you guys noticed that, right?
Yeah, I have.
So I've started doing that. And then one thing that I've been trying to do, but I just haven't been able to do it because I've been getting the notes for comic strips like 10 minutes prior to the show starting. I'm actually going to be adding all the notes and sources that I get my information from comic strips down in the description below as well.
Okay.
So that way people can go check it out. There's some that they're not like basically, they're
Did
not
you type this one out?
I did. I actually
Oh,
had
wow.
yeah. I actually had the time to do it. So there's that. But yeah, all the information will be down in the description below if you guys actually want to know more information about any of the topics that we talked about in comic strips in the description, be it on an audio platform or YouTube if you guys want. You guys doing okay this week? Yeah, you got something new this week.
I got a rock.
He's cute, dude.
Don't touch.
Dude,
Did you really? Don't take out his belt, man. Jesus. Like, it was hard to put it on. Like,
He doesn't
Nick,
deserve.
you're forbidden. Can you imagine the three of us as friends?
Growing
or
up?
three? Yeah.
like as
kids-
toddlers.
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't like to play with you guys with my toys. Like, 'cause I'm more I like to play with myself more. I have more fun playing with myself
Okay. I was
than
gonna say.
than playing with others.
Yeah, that's not how you play with others, man. You don't just as a toddler, you don't whip that out and go
Yeah,
like,
no.
"What do you guys want to play too?"
Helicopter.
No, it's much better to play with myself.
That's the weird
See,
kid.
Nick-
I'm more creative that way.
I feel like Nick, amongst the three of us, if we were like friends as toddlers, right?
Yeah.
Nick would be the coming from the family that had like the fancy toys, but would like break them.
I never had any fancy toys.
You never did? Then why do you break everything we give you?
Because I'm a boy.
I mean, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
No,
I mean, we hand you both the lightsabers that we made at Disney.
my God,
You
this is
bang them.
Time.
Yeah, I'm gonna be bringing.
Did they
it
bring
up.
it? Did they break?
No, but they
No.
almost
Yeah.
did.
Exactly.
Yeah, you spilled Monster last week, and then you're touching Renee's rock, and you almost take the belt out.
I meant to take the belt off.
Why? He just said prior to the start of the show that it was an impossible thing to add on there.
I know. I thought it was funny.
It's like you just want to cause him harm.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, dude.
I bully you. I gotta bully him too.
You don't bully Renee. Renee bullies you. You don't get bullied.
Can't bully a bully.
I'm gonna call Andrew.
Yeah.
Does he still listen to the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not gonna do anything.
Do you say that now?
Yeah. I mean, he just tell me to bully you.
Okay, fine. As long as he bullies both of us, I'm perfectly fine with that.
I think what he's gonna tell me is make sure that you get name checked in that unalive note.
Why?
That's
what he wants?
Yeah, that's a pride of honor, man. You got name checked.
He made it, dude.
Yeah, man, you made it. You ruined their
He
life.
becomes immortal just at Le Mans. Like if you podium at Le Mans, that makes you immortal.
Man,
name check?
way to bring it back.
Yeah, there you go. What are our topics for today, ladies and gentlemen? So we've got two major topics. The 1 week where we don't have topics, we have 2 now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we've got Gran Turismo, which was delayed from what, 2-3 weeks ago to now?
Yeah, when we were talking about it when we were like in line, it did make sense because I was like, why would they postpone this movie?
Yeah.
And then as soon as we came in, we were like, oh, it's IMAX.
Mhm.
That makes sense. They wanted to show it in IMAX.
Because originally I think we were gonna watch it in Dolby Digital.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was good in IMAX. It was great in IMAX.
It was loud.
Yeah.
It was a loud movie.
I asked you
It was
guys
good.
if you guys like could hear after the movie because I couldn't hear.
I could, but
I
I've been
could.
to I've been to a lot of like concerts and stuff. So I mean,
Okay.
my ears are kind of used to it.
Sure, that makes sense.
I've been listening to Mandy's voice for a while now, so
This just in: Rene Bravo was murdered.
Guys, I can't record the podcast. I can't come out and play today, guys.
His girlfriend
Grounded.
is a prime suspect.
My girlfriend.
I know
got
I'm
mad
definitely
at
gonna
me.
hear it. Like I can't take back that joke. Like, no, it's out there.
He was stabbed 9 times.
No, it was good. It was good in IMAX. Gran Turismo was great, but we're also gonna be talking about Ahsoka,
Mhm.
which had the opposite effect. It actually it premiered a day earlier,
Yeah, it did.
Mhm.
which is weird, but sure. So we got 2 main topics, but before we get to that, should we start off with comic strips?
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. Okay. We got to move fast because this is going to be a pretty lengthy episode based on the 2 major topics. But comic strips, the portion of the show where we talk about topics that don't merit a 10 to 15 minute conversation, and Nick tries not to tangent off. And he's a good boy because we are going to be talking about Ahsoka. We're
Watermelon
talking
straws are
Star
really
Wars.
good.
Yeah, they are.
Just jealous you can't have any.
I can't, dude. I told you why. Let's start off with Dune. Dune 2. Dune. The people that love Dune finally we get to talk about Dune again, dude.
Finally, dude! Yeah!
The one guy in the
The
back
one
of
guy in the
audience
back right now.
that asked us to just talk about Dune. Dune 2 will be pushed back to March 14th of 2024.
No, not my dude!
It was supposed to premiere in November, right?
Mhm.
But it got pushed back. So it's kind of interesting because I've heard 2 different things.
That hasn't made it on any of the advertising though. Yet,
Not yet.
Mhm.
because the movie, because we went
This
to
was
the
announced
movie,
today on
'cause we went-
Friday.
yeah, because we went to the movies last night. It still said November.
I think it was like a last minute decision. So it's interesting because I've heard 2 things. One, I've heard that they still need time to finish a couple things.
Yeah.
But I've also heard that it's because studios don't have enough movies
Mhm.
spanned out because of the strikes.
Hmm.
They're
That makes
still
sense.
going on. So they're
That does
pushing
make
it back.
sense.
Yeah. But March, November, December, January, February, March, 5 months.
Mhm.
Man, how bad would you be if you were the guy, if you were that one guy? You were like, dude, Dune 2 is gonna be sick.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Dude,
It's gonna be. It's it.
You saying Oppenheimer is the new thing? Nothing happened.
No, nothing did happen.
Nothing happened.
Thank the maker.
Thank the maker.
Good job. But good news for Miss Marvel fans. Miss Marvel will take over their IMAX screens, which releases November 10th. So originally it wasn't going to be an IMAX,
No,
but
yeah.
now because
Maybe that was a deal between the studios.
you think so? Warner Brothers. You mean to tell me that Warner Brothers decided to say like, "Hey, yo, you know what, Disney, you want those screens? Go for it.
Already made $1 billion.
Well, not only that, but also because they might think that they're going to cannibalize each other.
But it's
We're not
Disney and Warner. Why would
I
they? They're meant to compete each other.
I know, but we already aren't making money, and we have no movies.
So you think there's like a silent truce behind the doors?
I can say that.
Yeah,
They're like, hey, bro,
I can see that.
you're suffering. I'm suffering.
Like, we both
Take this
hurting,
one.
bro. Yeah.
It's okay. Well, you take it. All right, sure. Why not? So the Marvels will be premiering November 10th, 2023. They'll be taking over the IMAX screens, meaning we're gonna go see it in IMAX, obviously, right?
Yeah.
It's not gonna sell out. I feel like the Marvels isn't a movie that a lot of people are excited for.
You don't know that.
I mean, first day is gonna, like, a lot of people are gonna see it the first day.
Oh yeah, it's the Marvel.
It's another
Marvel boys.
Marvel project.
Yeah.
Granted, if it's Captain Marvel #2, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. But speaking about IMAX, Barbie will release in IMAX starting the week of September 22nd for 1 week only.
And that's how you break records.
That's gonna be the busiest.
It already broke records.
Dude,
What
that's
is it
gonna be
do?
the busiest week of all.
I'm
You
telling you,
think
dude,
so?
they're gonna re-show it, and they're gonna
Dude, you
really
know,
like pad that lead.
So many people went to go out their way to see this movie multiple times.
Yeah, I know. Andy wants to go see it because she's just like, we saw it in laser, and she's like, once you showed me IMAX, I'm never going back. I'm like, all right, makes sense.
I mean,
Yeah.
we did talk about, like, could you imagine seeing this movie in IMAX?
Yes,
The
the
pinks
pinks
will
are
be
pinker.
pinker.
Yeah, more radiant.
We're gonna try to go see it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I want to go see it in IMAX.
It's actually going to include some extra post-credit scenes too.
Ooh,
Don't know what. but
Barbie
sure.
2,
Barbie 2,
The Return of Ken,
Ken Awakening.
Ken Awakening.
I remember,
Ken.
I remember when Monica went to go see it, and I was like, "How'd you like it?" She was like, "It's good." She's like, "I get it."
Mandy still hasn't seen it yet. She wants to see it, but we just haven't had
She
the chance.
hasn't seen it?
She hasn't had the chance to see it yet. Because
Wow.
every other movie that we went to go see we saw Ninja Turtles,
Mhm.
then she wanted to see Haunted Mansion, and then we saw Voyage of the Damned, or the demeanor of the end of the Voyage of the Demeanor, or something like that.
Oh, the other Dracula
The,
movie
yeah,
that flopped?
the vampires on a boat.
Basically.
Yeah, did you find that funny that Universal did 2 different Dracula movies and both flopped?
Yeah.
Yeah, but also you could have seen the trailer for the demeanor one and been like,
It's
"That's not gonna do that
It
good."
was,
That's not gonna be that
okay.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it an okay movie?
It was okay. I mean, they took the lore from the Bram Stoker's Dracula pretty well,
Uh-huh.
but overall, you could have cut it at like a half an hour from it.
Really?
Yeah, because there was just like, it was supposed to be like a 6-week voyage. And we're like, oh, wait, are we going to watch the whole 6 weeks here? Like, what's going on?
Every 10 minutes is a full week.
Because that's the thing. It's not like, they start losing shipmates. And it's like,
How does that
they're
not
like,
just
you
happen in
did it.
one
No,
night?
you did it. And
So
it's just-
Dracula hunts one person every week?
yeah, it's like Among Us. Almost in a way. Like,
Boom, 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 boom.
like crew meeting. like who killed the animals? Who drained
was-
them dry?
It was Dave. And you just see him have blood all over his face. And he's like, "What did I do?
What are you talking about, dude?
Why is it
I
me?"
did nothing.
Yeah.
You know what?
This is
It was
wine.
that guy.
This is wine, all right? I drank all the wine.
That guy. You know what happens when you point a finger at me? 3 more point back at you.
You know what?
It just
It's 2 fingers and 1
Dave,
pinky.
you have no reflection.
a pinky is still is
the
still
mirror's
a
not
finger.
working. Like,
Mirror's broken, dude. That ain't a
mirror's
mirror.
broken.
What are you talking about,
That ain't
dude?
a mirror. That's just a window.
You know what would be interesting? So we talked about this last week, right? About the Nerf movie that we
Yeah.
want to do, right?
Mhm.
People. So friend of the show, Sean.
Yeah.
Did you see the messages he sent us on Instagram?
No.
No.
No. Okay. So he sent us messages on Instagram. He texted me as well. I forgot to reply to him.
He's just
But
like, I have so many Nerf guns.
He's like, dude, I want to be a part of it. No matter what I have to do, I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Even if I get like shot in the first like couple scenes, like I want to be a part of it. I'm like, all right.
Can we make him a red shirt?
You want to make him a red shirt?
But I want to make him a red shirt, but we keep putting like different mustaches on him.
He's the definitive red shirt, and it's just
What
looks
if that's
different.
his part?
It's
He's
Yeah.
the kid that doesn't want to die in the playground, so he just keeps coming back as a different person every
Yeah,
time.
he just has like a
mustache, different
I
shirt.
think that'd be hilarious.
That'd be funny, dude.
Mhm.
Like,
Dave,
comes
you
back-
already died. No, I didn't.
No, I did.
It's fine. Get shot right
I
then
have a
and there.
vest.
It's the same thing.
With a
with,
different guy.
Yeah.
Put a mustache on him, then a goatee,
Mhm.
then sideburns, then shave his head.
What?
I'm in.
And
I'm in
that's
just.
commitment.
I'm in
To
just
the-
because you said
to
we're
the
gonna
short
shave his
film,
head.
Yeah.
I'm down just because you said we're gonna shave his head. I'm in.
That's it. That's it, dude.
I'm so
The
in.
only way Sean gets in this is if he shaves.
He
his
said
head.
no matter what, right?
He said no matter what.
All right.
All right.
Nah, dude, we can't haze
He's
the
gonna
guy, dude.
he's gonna tickle my taint and he's gonna
Dude,
shave his
stop.
head.
What the hell? What?
And lawsuit confirmed, dude.
He is actually Hollywood, this guy? Or
Hey,
what?
he said whatever it takes.
Yeah.
All right, Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, Harvey
relax,
Weinstein
dude.
him? What?
Jesus.
It's only Harvey if he didn't want it.
Oh my gosh.
I was okay. So we mentioned I was I'm completely off track. I was
All right, let's
mentioning the
move-
Nerf movie,
yeah.
right? Because I wanted to say, like, what if they did like an Among Us movie? I mean, sure, the concept has been done.
Yeah, the thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
The thing is Among Us.
The thing is Among Us.
That's what it
Think about
is.
it.
So is
I'm
the
sorry,
ripoff
did
of that Mimic.
yeah, I'm sorry. Did I deflate your balloon?
Yeah, you did.
I'm sorry.
What if they did an Among Us but comedy?
I mean, you have to do an animated movie at that point.
You can't do a live action? I think we can do a live action Among Us movie.
Yeah, the thing, the remake.
It's a comedy.
It's a comedy, dude.
You think it was
seen-
serious?
Yeah.
You think you were being serious about that?
Speaking of Mary Elizabeth Winstead,
Oh my god, dude. We're not there yet. We're not going to get there yet, all right? Relax.
just saying, she's in both.
No. Is she really?
She's in the remake of the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know.
You didn't know that?
No, I never watched the remake of the original thing. I've seen the thing,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen the thing
You seen a thing? Yeah.
too. You know, whatever. Sure.
Saw the thingy.
I say we make an Among Us comedy movie.
Sure.
We can do that. More movie talk. Talk to Me has passed $50 million worldwide. 39 million of those dollars are domestic, making one of the A24's highest grossing movies ever on a budget of $4.5 million. Where do you think it places amongst A24's highest grossing movies?
Third?
5?
5.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. What's number 1?
Midsummer?
Midsummer's not even on the list.
Hereditary.
What? No, not Hereditary.
Think about it. Oscar winning Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, is that really?
That's number 1.
Oh.
Grossed 111.5 million worldwide, 77 million domestically. Hereditary is number 2 at 81.3 million, domestic 44 million. Lady Bird coming in third at 80 million worldwide, 48.9
Oh, yeah, that's right. They did
million.
do Lady Bird.
Never seen Lady Bird.
Lady Bird is Greta Gerwig, right?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. And then Moonlight, 64.9 million worldwide, 27.9
Never seen
million
Moonlight.
domestically.
Still haven't seen La La Land.
You haven't seen La La Land?
It's good.
I started it and then I immediately was like, "Oh,
this-
I can watch something better."
It's the story. It's the story of two. You didn't know about this true story of two Caucasian people saving jazz?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Apparently that was a story that needed to be told.
Where they save jazz.
Yeah.
They-
Put it on for 20 minutes, said, okay. That's
Wait,
the
the
break that
opening
came
the
out.
opening scene is what didn't get you? The scene where
Dun,
where
dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun,
the-
dun,
throughout
dun.
the-
I mean,
the
I was like,
traffic and
"Oh,
everything?
I've heard that song on TikTok. That's where it came from." Boop. I was like,
but like the scene with like the traffic and everything else. And,
I
like,
mean, I
people getting out
saw
of their
it.
cars
I
and
didn't. I saw
dancing.
it. It didn't drive me because I saw how, like,
It didn't sell them.
yeah, it didn't sell because like what Ryan Gosling was like, "You don't know about jazz." I'm like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "This." I hate that type of person. It's like, that's not real music. And I'm just
You know why
like,
it got me?
What?
Because Andy wanted to go see it.
Mm.
So I went to go see it in the interest of saying, like, you know what? I don't like musicals. Let's go watch it anyways.
Yeah.
And then I watched it. I was like, that's a pretty damn good
Mhm.
musical.
Mhm.
I love it. It's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, but I get it why it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
It's fine. Don't worry. I'm not Nick. I'm not going to, like, pressure you to like something. Grab you by the neck and go, like, hey, you better like this.
Hey, like what I like.
Sorry, you're wrong.
God, dude, relax.
Sorry.
I think that's it about for movie news. I mean, we got to get back into like other topics besides movies. Actually, no, one more, but it technically does have some video game stuff into it. Zack Snyder wants to direct a Gears of War movie. I think we've heard this for like the 10th time already in the past like 2-3 years now.
I think of people who could do a Gears of War, I think Zack Snyder can make a pretty solid Gears of War movie.
Sure, but here's the thing. So
Rebel Moon just looks like
hang on. You're going to beat me to the punch there. Yes, yeah, you're beating me to the punch because he wants to direct a Gears of War movie, which Netflix currently has the rights to and are working on a script.
yes.
Okay, you said it yourself that he has Rebel Moon coming out on Netflix,
Yeah.
which is set to premiere December 22nd of 2023.
It's his version of Star Wars.
His version of Star Wars. So this is coming from the Netflix website. This is the description they're using.
Mhm.
The star-treading epic Rebel Moon is about Korra, played by Sofia Boutella, a lone wolf soldier who found community and connection on the quiet farming moon of Velta. She's along a long way away from her former life fighting for the Imperium, the brutal interstellar royal empire bent on controlling the galaxy. But Korra's violent past is dredged up when a sadistic Admiral Atticus Noble, played by Ed Skrein, comes to Velta via a Dreadnought-class battlecruiser and stirs up deadly trouble on the orders of the Imperium's tyrannical regent. I can't pronounce this word. Balisorius, played by Free. That's the description.
See, whenever a movie tries to compete with Star Wars, it never turns out good.
So
Not even
Jupiter's Ascending,
John Carter.
Valerian,
Jupiter's Ascending, we don't mention.
Dune.
What'd you say about Dune?
It's delayed. It's fine.
Yeah. What is another? John Carter. Like those
And
movies.
John Carter
The fact that
inspired.
you said Jupiter's Ascending just made my mouth
That's
sour,
the thing,
dude.
but those the thing.
Oh,
That's
Ender's Game.
Ender's Game. Those movies tried to compete sane in the advertising, like the next epic that's gonna
The
like
next-
Star Wars.
The next epic from the mind of
Jupiter Ascending was not the next Star Wars.
They tried.
No, but it tried. They marketed it as it was going to be.
They really did. Zathura.
Yeah.
I don't know
So,
why.
yeah.
Oh, Zathura I finally saw.
How'd you like
Okay.
it?
It was okay. It was pretty fun.
Good. Dak
Yeah.
Shepard's cool.
It's special. The special effects are
Yeah, Dak Shepard.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
the biggest thing is the special effects. Special effects are amazing.
For
in that movie.
Zathura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks really cool.
Well, what's the main kid's name again?
Brian
No, the actor.
Stanley.
Josh Hutcherson.
Yeah, Josh Hutcherson.
Yeah.
That's the guy from
He's in Five Nights at Freddy's.
yeah. This guy from what's it called? Mockingjay, right?
Oh yeah, the Hunger Games.
From the Hunger Games?
Peter.
I don't know, dude. I've heard of the name, and then Andy
Yeah.
was like
Pedo?
all about Josh Hutcherson. He's like, oh, we gotta watch Zathura. I'm like,
Apparently,
okay,
I don't know where this love for Josh Hutcherson came
cool.
in.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Like there's a following for him.
you know the name,
Yeah.
but I just.
I mean, I've been following him, since I've been watching movies and stuff like that. Like Bridge of Terabithia, he was in that.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he was a British.
He was a
Terabithia.
Bridge of Terabithia.
Dude, I
Played a
try to
good role.
regress that movie in my brain every single time it gets
Why?
brought up because it's sad, dude.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
Yeah.
It's just I don't want to talk about it.
Why? Because it's sad.
Yeah, because it's real sad.
I like sad movies. They make me feel human.
Oh.
Jesus, Johnny Cash. Relax.
I'm just saying.
He dies in the end. That's
Why
fine.
don't- Why do you bleed? So I know I can still feel.
Yeah, basically.
Dude, no, Dad, nah. Don't talk about Bridget Terabithia. That's fine. Yeah, but no, the love for Josh Hutcherson, sure.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's
mean,
Whatever.
fine.
It's what it is.
I mean, I guess I could see it, but at the same time, I'm just like, it's like very, very just random.
Did you ever see that show he was starring in on Hulu?
Oh, what is it with
where he beats a video? He's like the best player at a specific video game, and then
Frontier Man
Death
or something
Race.
like that, isn't it?
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where and then like two super soldiers from the future
Oh,
come back, and then it's like a weird Terminator-esque movie.
sure. I think I know what you're talking about. Speaking about video games, did you hear that Peacock's biggest streamed series this year was Twisted Metal?
Peacock's biggest,
Streaming
like its
show.
most successful.
Yeah, is Twisted Metal.
I can believe that.
I mean,
I mean, they've definitely put the most money into it.
Oh, he's also in Journey to the Center of the Earth. I forgot about that.
Oh, okay.
He was, in all fairness, he is in the Brendan Fraser one, and the Brendan Fraser one's pretty sick.
Yeah. He's in both.
Yeah.
He's the one, even with the Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, I think if
The new one is with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, right?
yeah, they shouldn't have changed the actors.
They should have kept it. They should have just stuck with it.
that was when The Rock was getting in everything.
Mhm.
He's still getting everything, dude. Look, he's here. He's here. He's infiltrated our podcast too. This is Rock. Don't touch his rock, dude, because you're gonna break it. Watch.
Future Man, that's what it's called.
Yeah, there it is.
Future Man.
Yeah. It was alright.
Well, anyways, people are gonna watch Five Nights at Freddy's. Did you hear that kids are excited for that movie?
Yeah, dude. Like, it's surprisingly enough, there's a lot of kids that are into it.
So
like
are we
when-
gonna go watch the movie and it's gonna be a bunch of 5-year-olds kind of like freaking out when
My-
blood and guts
Yeah,
fill
dude.
the camera?
It was really weird when we went to go see that other movie.
Which one?
What movie did we go see? And like, there was just like a lot of children there.
Haunted Mansion?
No.
No.
Ninja Turtles?
Ninja Turtles. There was a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad theater.
What
though.
movie was it?
I forget, but I remember me and you went to a movie. We were like,
Yeah.
this thing is like a Chuck E. Cheese in here.
Was it where I stepped out? I wasn't there.
Oh no.
You weren't there. Me and him
Yeah.
went to a movie and we were like, "Oh, this thing's like a Chuck E. Cheese, man. So many kids."
What movie did you guys
I don't
watch?
know.
Did
That's the
remember.
thing.
you guys hold hands too, or what?
No.
I don't remember, but I remember we were like, we probably
Like,
looked
this is-
super weird.
Yeah.
We were two grown men in a theater full of kids, and we were like, "Oh God, why are we here?"
Mhm.
You're actually gonna look for
I
it.
swear
I'm
we're.
actually gonna look for
It's like
it.
I swear we're here for the movie.
Yeah.
We're not
You
here
didn't
to
come in with a
abduct
trench coat,
anyone,
did you?
please.
Oh, no, it wasn't the machine. No.
No, it wasn't the machine. Yeah, the machine was the one that looked like a Chuck E. Cheese. I forgot 5-year-olds really dig Bert Kreischer.
Yeah, right.
What was
Russian
it?
mob kidnaps an American. That's what the kids
I
want to
forget
see.
because I remember looking at you going like, "There's a lot of kids in
Yeah.
here." I forget what movie it was.
While he looks this up, let's move on to the next part of
no.
comic strips. So, let's stick with the gaming stuff. Let's stick with Xbox stuff. Per GameSpot, Phil Spencer explained how the Xbox Series X and S consoles are only at the beginning of their life cycle. I think the supply issue early on lengthened the beginning to some extent. So the consoles have reached it's in its third year,
Okay.
right? So like same thing with the PlayStation 5. But what he's basically saying is he doesn't see that the console needs a refresh anytime soon. So if anyone's interested in buying the console or basically putting it off, because that's kind of where I'm at right now, is like I don't want to
Buy
buy
the
a console.
hardware?
Yeah, because I feel like a refresh is coming. According to Phil Spencer, there's no refresh coming anytime soon besides the storage update for the Series S. Rather, he wants to focus developers to push the hardware that currently exists for the Xbox, push it graphically. He wants to see how far the hardware can.
That's the thing though, is that right now technically you have there's kind of like an in between PC and X and like console gaming when it comes to Xbox.
Yeah.
Where if you have a strong enough PC, you don't even need to get a console.
No, you don't. And it's kind of weird because I get the appeal of consoles now, right? Because for $500, you have basically a computer,
Mhm.
right? You play your PlayStation, you're playing your games. That's all you care about, right?
Mhm.
You don't really care about how well it performs or anything. You just want to play
I
your
just
game.
want to be able to play them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But once you've reached and felt what 60 frames feels like, you don't want to go back to 30. And I feel like that's kind of the problem that consoles are having now, is that you're settling for minimum specs. Because Starfield's supposed to be coming out next month on like the 13th or 16th.
But that's the thing though, is that it's so interesting because consoles used to be like the best of the best, but now that's like your mid-range to budget.
It's a budget PC.
It's a budget PC now that like, and the other thing that's really good about it too is that when you get it, hey, I don't need to do anything else to it. I don't need to maintain it. I mean, you still need to maintain it and clean it and everything else. But I mean, for the most part, I don't need to get a new graphics card. I don't need to expand the storage. I don't need to do anything.
There's no
like
maintenance.
that. There's no real maintenance. I don't need to update its RAM. At least 4 years into your PC, 4 to 5 years, you're gonna want to start probably taking pieces off and replacing them with brand new ones.
So here's the problem I have with consoles nowadays, right? I feel like PlayStation's in a good area because PlayStation gamers don't care so much about how a game looks graphically or how well it's going to perform. You guys have your exclusives. You guys love those games, and most people, I get it. There's going to be some people that are like, "Oh no, but I care about my graphics. I care about this, and I'm a PlayStation player." Cool. Okay, that's you. But I feel like the majority of them tend to just want to play their games, right? The problem is that you have Phil Spencer, who I feel is kind of being hypocritical in the sense where he says things like, we're not going to refresh the console the console generation right now. We're going to keep the Series X and the Series S as they are for the next couple of years. And even though the life cycle is 5 to 7 years, 3 years in is just the beginning. This is the long run. We're going to keep it for another 5 years. The problem I have with that is that you have games like Baldur's Gate, right? Huge. And it's a game that a lot of people want to play, but it's a PC exclusive for the time being.
It's great.
I can imagine it's great.
It's so much fun.
How do you bring that game to something like the Series S, which is the lower tier of Xbox, when it can't even run that game the way it should? You have problems that way.
I mean, that's the problem because I do think that Baldur's Gate is on PC. It's on PlayStation, isn't it?
Is it on PlayStation?
Yeah.
I believe it's on PlayStation. You can get it on PlayStation, but
You
it's
can
not
get it
on
right
Xbox.
now. Yeah, it's not on Xbox right now.
Okay. Yeah, because
they're
of
working
the
it out,
Series
yeah.
S.
Yeah, Xbox, I do think that's the problem is because there are certain limitations to both the X and the S, and I think because they're saying that these are the end. These two consoles, their lifespan is still beginning, but that's not saying, oh yeah, we're not going to release an upgraded version of these things that can play games. That it's like your higher end version of it. And we're going to charge $800 for it to $1,000.
So that's the thing, though, is that Phil Spencer's kind of like a necessary evil at this point, because he's holding back these games from being way overdeveloped and making it impossible for people to try them out, but also kind of saying like, okay, the devs need to really focus on making these games accessible for people that are using these consoles, even though they're on the lower end, which is good. Because gaming is getting expensive.
Everything's getting expensive, in all fairness.
Yeah, in all fairness, but I mean, gaming used to be accessible to a lot of people.
I mean, the thing that made gaming so easy was literally I could buy an N64 or anything else. You know, I spend $500, and that'll last me maybe 8 to 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's not that.
And in the way that technology is advancing, that life cycle has shortened to maybe 3 to 5.
3 years for a refresh, 5 to 7 years for full new evolution.
Because knowing them, what they're gonna probably do is quiet updates, where they're like slowly changing out chips, they're changing out resistors, they're changing out memory, like he said, maybe changing out RAM.
That's
so that
what
way
Nintendo
it runs,
did with the Switch.
Yeah, so that way it runs a lot better, and that way you can play these updated games. But I mean, honestly, I feel personally, if that's the road that you're going to go down, and you really wanted to get the most bang for your buck, then just go PC.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, you're not going to get anything from PlayStation, but honestly, PlayStation is eventually going to have to budge, because all the other studios are going to be on PC. If the only studios that aren't on PC are PlayStation studios, then I just don't want to play them. Like they're already I'm not going to spend $700 to $800 on a PlayStation 5 just so I can play 9 games. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
When all these other games are on it.
And that makes sense. That does make sense, because this idea of console wars is kind of getting old. Like, it doesn't make any sense anymore. It's just kind of like, oh, you're an Xbox boy, you're PlayStation boy. It don't matter. I mean, if you're remaining Xbox, but you don't have the Xbox console, there's the Xbox Game Pass on PC.
And that's the thing, though. Xbox really did close in that whole like, oh, well, I mean, if you don't want to buy our hardware and you have a PC, here's all of our games and everything else. And then all they've been doing is going, okay, we're going to buy every studio possible.
Yeah.
And make Game Pass as wanted as possible.
Yeah, I got a group of friends. It's John, Calvin, a couple other people as well that like they're mainly like PC gamers. They play a lot of like League of Legends and Dota and stuff. But
those are PC gamers.
Yeah, but Calvin was saying that, you know, it's so interesting how, because we were talking about this a couple months ago, how like Xbox Game Pass is just probably the best thing that Xbox could have done, because for $15 you're basically gaming like any game on Xbox that, you know, you would play on Xbox on PC. That's how I found what's that game? The Legend of Zelda ish game with the fox. You know, it's a cool game. I beat it. It's interesting.
And you know what? Honestly, that was kind of like their big market towards it, of like you get 300 games, and they're all from like small developers to first party developers.
Yeah.
And you know, try them all out.
Yeah.
You know, you never know what you're gonna find. You never know, and you know, even has a little wheel.
Yeah.
That's on it too, where it's like, do you like surprise me? And then it'll pop up a game, and it's like, you know, based off of the things that you like to play.
That's right. They added that on there. That's pretty interesting.
Based off the games that you like to play, we think that you'd also enjoy this game. And, you know, I've done that a couple of times, and I've gone like, yeah, absolutely. That algorithm is spot on. I like that game. Moving
on to the next topic. Mortal Kombat creator Ed Boon went on an interview with comicbook.com and says that he hopes to make a Marvel versus DC game sometime in the future. Ed Boon was the creator of Mortal Kombat. He currently works as a developer for, I think he's the head of NetherRealm Studios over at Warner Brothers. But he, quote, I mean, we did a number of games with DC characters. When you're a kid and you're like, who would win in a fight, Mighty Mouse or Superman? Just these dumb, different universe things. There's a part of us that still has those immature conversations. To me, Spider-Man and Batman would be the coolest thing in the world. So, of course, we'd love to do that. But it's probably very difficult to jump that hurdle.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine either of those like companies.
I don't know why I feel like Marvel's the hardest one to convince to get this going.
in all fairness, Warner Brother they're pretty loose on it. I mean, especially with going like, oh yeah, what about if we just like, allow Mortal Kombat characters just to like rip Batman's spine out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just see what happens and everything else. So I mean, I feel like Warner Brothers is open to it. I mean, Ed Boon probably wouldn't have brought it up unless like they probably had a conversation. And it's like, yeah, you guys pressure Marvel to like work with us.
It's just weird because I don't know if you guys like knew about the whole Marvel versus Capcom 3 debacle.
That's why
that
it
was
fell
going on.
through. Yeah, because of Marvel.
Or not Marvel versus Capcom 3. It was Marvel versus Capcom, the fourth one. It was like with the Infinity Stones. I forget what it was, what the title of it was, but they couldn't include certain characters because they didn't belong to Marvel at the time. Like they couldn't use, I think, Wolverine or something like that.
Because I think it.
Oh yeah, because Fox
owned it at the time of development, so they couldn't even use it. Even though Wolverine was like
in other games.
Yeah, in Marvel vs. Capcom 1 through 3, and then you don't include him in 4, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So
he's one of the better game characters.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Last topic for comic strips. This is a pretty big one, but I feel like we do need to address it because we've talked about it before. It has to do with the ongoing strikes in Hollywood. So, Disney CEO Bob Iger is reportedly personally offended that the WGA did not agree to their latest offer.
What's the latest offer?
So, here is a quote from allyourscreens.com. There are a number of people with the AMPTP proposal, including the fact that leaving a decision in the showrunner's hands means that inevitably the studios will pressure some showrunners to opt against bringing in 2 or more writers. And then there's a problem with the definition of showrunner itself. Some streamers have already begun making the showrunner position a non-writing one, instead making a producer or director the default showrunner and simply hiring a head writer to run the writer's room, which would take the writers out of the decision-making process entirely. And as several WGA members have suggested to me, the main thrust of the AMPTP proposal seems to be an effort to normalize the idea of a standard writing room size of a showrunner and 2 full-time mid-level writers. Essentially, what the proposal was, the TLDR of this, is something along the lines of minimizing the writer's room to 2 main writers that would be contracted for 10 episodes or something like that. Basically what they've already had kind of going on, right? But instead of it being like, you contract a writer for 3 episodes and then you let him go and you get replace him with another writer for another 3 episodes, it's 2 main writers with the showrunner in that writing room writing 10 episodes per season.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but they're contracted for the 10.
In all fairness, that's not a bad deal.
It isn't.
And honestly, I do feel that them having so many writers is the reason why some TV and some movies are off. Because sometimes it does feel like these 3 episodes, they're super good. Like, man, these episodes were like really slap. Like, they were good. And then you switch to this new writer and you were like,
what happened?
Yeah, like, why does the vibe feels weird? Like, it still feels like the show, but it kind of feels like, I don't think that character would have done X, Y, and Z.
But I think the problem is coming into it's coming into the fact that you have 2 main writers contracted for 10 shows, 10 episodes, right? So you're going back to that problem of having these series and these shows only doing 10 episodes before the season ends or whatever they're trying to do. If they're doing a 20 episode run, you have 4 different writers, which isn't bad, but still it kind of makes it a little bit weird. This goes on to say that the WGA negotiators have stated their invitation to meet with CEOs of the companies have been more lectures than actual negotiations, claiming that the studio is telling negotiators that the offers coming from the studios are the best outcome to resolve the ongoing strikes and not conforming to what the unions are asking for.
Jesus. Studios don't want to give in.
They don't. And
they really don't want to give in.
It's interesting because like the more you read this article, and again, links in the description if you guys want to read the article, it seems like which is kind of weird because I've also heard that they've started to hire PR people to kind of handle the images of the studios because it's not looking good.
It's not. No, throughout this whole like strike, all the studio execs look like essentially assholes.
They're babies.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, guys, we're losing money. It's fine. Like, we're trying to push these movies out here, but y'all are being stupid and going out on strikes and demanding these things that we can't offer.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm only making $100 million.
Yeah.
I could be making $125 million. You're keeping me from that extra 25.
Yeah. So I can get that house in Laguna Beach.
Listen, I've only got 4 houses.
Listen, you're making me turn off my lights 2 seconds earlier than when I like.
You know what? But here, don't get me wrong. This isn't like
you guys are disturbing my Whole Foods grocery list.
don't get me wrong.
Shop at Sprouts.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna just like punch them in the nuts because they're rich. I mean, that's awesome. They're great. In all fairness, if I could, I
must
would.
be great. Like,
I'd do it.
yeah.
Like, but but my thing is that I do feel that there is something about like the bottom line that we've really lost track of, like where movies and like the fact that movies are meant to be profitable for everyone.
Yeah.
Not just a singular person.
Everyone that's
or
involved in
everybody-
making the film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's and Hollywood was supposed to. That was kind of like the dream for Hollywood is that you can come out to Hollywood. I can be a writer, a director, an actor. I can and I can make my fortune. And the fact that some of these writers and actors and everything else that are making hundreds upon millions, even billions of dollars for these studios, are only seeing a fraction, if that.
Yeah, because now
a percentage of what it is.
Studios are being sneaky now, where it's like, here's your initial pay, but we're gonna get a couple more of that extra because of they found a loophole within the streaming services and stuff like that. That's the
What
thing.
doesn't make any sense to me, right, is because more and more people are talking about kind of like the darker side of studios, right? So you have PR departments being developed for these studios to handle their images because they're making them look bad, right? Now you have these people coming out, not heads of the union, but like representatives of the union, right? Basically coming out and saying that something is real fishy about the studios not wanting these proposals that the WGA and SAG-AFTRA are asking for, right? To them, it kind of makes it seem like the studios have no idea what's going on and money management is just terrible. Like something has to be wrong, right?
Yeah.
Because this detail also came from Deadline. They basically made this table where they showed the different studios that are kind of, being a part of the strike, or studios that are, these unions are striking against, right? And they're saying that the average cost of the proposal that these unions have presented to the studios averages out to less than 2% of their annual revenue. So if you want two examples, the big ones are Disney and Netflix, right? So their annual cost or their annual revenue for Disney is $82.7 billion according to Deadline. The cost of what the unions are asking for Disney is around $72 million. That's what the cost of this proposal should be costing Disney, which is averaging out to less than 1% of that annual revenue. It's 0.08% basically, right? Netflix's is the annual revenue, $31.6 billion. All they're asking for is $65 million, the total cost of the proposal, which is...
That's not even like...
less than 0.2%.
My God, write him a check. Jesus.
Yeah.
At that point, it's not even like worth like fighting over 36 million. Is that or 65 million?
So something's up.
Yeah.
So something's up here because one, Deadline's coming up with these annual revenue numbers for these companies.
Yeah.
But the studios have also said that they're not revealing the annual revenue.
Unless they're stacking the books. Unless they're saying that the company's worth way more than it actually is, and how much they're making is way more.
Well,
way more than they actually are.
Not to mention, we're hearing all these like things of studios cutting corners now to save money, like the way how they do about VFX now, and then how they treat the writers' room and stuff like that. They're telling them you got to do it within this time span and stuff like that. You got to hurry up. Here's room A for episodes 1, 3, and 5. Then here's room B for 2, 4, and 6.
And all of you aren't communicating.
Yeah. But we want you guys to hurry up and put these episodes out and stuff like that. We want you to put the script down. It's really kind of sketchy how we're finding out how studios treat everyone within their,
their bubbles.
Yeah. It's weird. So and for what I've heard, actors are also they're coming out about how their contracts are not really being met and stuff like that.
That they're not getting paid on time, or that they're not getting paid what they originally thought they were.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Unless they meet certain goals, and it just doesn't make any. It just, no matter how you look at it, it doesn't make sense.
It could be something that this has been happening for decades, and now that everyone is catching on, it's coming to light. Studios are now realizing we're going to lose more money than we've ever normally make.
You think that studios have grown to the point that their annual revenue only makes up for how much they have to spend to keep everything they've acquired? Because something interesting that popped up on I'm going to call it Twitter, I don't care, that popped up on my Twitter was that supposedly Disney's willing to kind of let go of ESPN and make some sort of streaming I guess streaming like program or app or something like that, and having Amazon be the main guys that hold on to it.
Really?
Yeah. Which makes no sense because you already have ESPN Plus bundled up with Hulu and Disney Plus for $16.
So are they not making money from having ESPN?
But now this proposal thing that's supposedly leaked means that ESPN will now be worth $32, $35 a month for that subscription. I'm not paying $35 for a subscription on sports.
No.
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
It's not worth sports ball.
No.
No.
And then Apple TV is also kind of weird too.
But here's the thing, though: people will pay it.
Some people will.
I know. No, I know.
Certain
I know like at least 10 people right now.
Certain streaming services are upping their
10
prices.
people, you know.
Peacock just upped their price by $1, which is not too bad. It went from, if you pay the lowest tier, it's $4.99, but now it's moved up to $5.99.
Not that bad.
It's not that bad.
No,
but
Disney moved up to $2.
But ever since the strike has been happening, the streaming services have said that they are upping their prices now and stuff, which is like, okay, but don't make it like Netflix where it's like, you know, it started out like $14.99. Now it's like a straight $20.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny because you know how Netflix popped up the other day where it was like, oh yeah, put your email in, like where your location is.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was so funny because I don't know why they made it skippable.
Right? You can skip it or just say, I'm on vacation. I'm going mobile. Like, you know, I'm traveling.
Yeah.
You can put it like that, and then it's like, oh, okay. And then it just goes back, and you're like,
yeah.
Why even do this? Why even?
It's an unneeded step.
Their subscription base went up, right? But what does that mean? I mean, it means more money for them, but where's that money going?
That's the thing.
And that's the thing though, is that I'm imagining it's going to the studio and it's going to all these like budget movies, but also some of those movies suck.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Netflix movies that you're just kind of like, how did you make this?
And
Why did you make this?
I finally clicked on Netflix in over like 2 months. We have not been on Netflix in over 2 months. The only reason I went on Netflix was to watch Nailed It, the baking show that Netflix has.
Oh,
that one's really good. I like Is It Cake?
Oh, I watched the first season.
That's not bad. I like that.
Okay.
I like Is It Cake? It's fun.
Yeah, but it's just like there's nothing on Netflix, and I forgot Netflix's catalog is pretty good. But then you got HBO Max. The point of these streaming services is that it supposedly beat cable. And now I'm looking at these streaming services and how much money I'm spending on them, and I'm like, dude, this is the same thing as cable.
It's adding up to the same thing as cable if you try to get every single.
I thought it was funny because for net, actually that's the reason why we canceled cable, because like I remember when we were doing like the price analysis of it. We were going over it with our dad, and he was like, well, like how much is cable and how much is like if I were just to buy all these services, and we literally went, it's about the same.
It is about the same.
And then
you
he
get
was like,
more catalog.
Yeah, and he goes, and the catalog is bigger, and we were like, yeah, and he goes, okay, well, why don't I just pay for that? It's a lot easier. But it's funny because me and Monica we were stuck on Netflix for a while, for like all weekend last week, just because it had the Fast and the Furious. Like,
really?
It has Fast and the Furious 1 all the way to 5.
Oh.
Yeah.
So like I put on 1, like I said last week, and then Monica was just like, I forgot how good these movies are.
Oh, Fast and Furious is good?
Fast and the Furious 1. And then I showed her Fast and the Furious 2 the next day, and she was like, these movies are pretty good. And then I put on Tokyo Drift, and she was like, who's this dude? That's just like,
it's okay. The driving's great, dude.
And then she was like, wait, so...
And you put Fast and Furious, and you're like, this movie sucks because it does.
Yeah, it's so great whenever she was trying to figure out, like, wait, so why is Han in this one, but also he's in
alive.
4?
And you put
he's
Fast
in
5,
4
and you're
and
like,
he
this is the
dies.
greatest Fast and Furious movie of all time.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, well, they put it in the past just because of this one character. She goes, so they changed an entire timeline?
Yeah, it's 1, 2, 4.
We get it. You like it.
Yeah.
Let's keep talking.
but
Shut your mouth already.
Hey,
speaking
jabroni. It doesn't matter what you like.
and you know, and I'm looking forward. I'm really wondering where Gran Turismo is going to land, like in these streaming services, because PlayStation.
Oh, that's it. Hang on. That brings us to the end of comic strips, ladies and gentlemen. Gran Turismo time.
You're ready.
Buckle up, buddy.
That's why I brought up Fast and the Furious again. I needed a car movie.
I need a car movie transition.
I needed a car transition.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo. I'm gonna stop you right there.
It's good.
but Ford versus Ferrari is the greatest racing movie of all
Yeah,
time.
no, I like Ford versus Ferrari. I'm not even gonna fight you on that. I
Spoiler
like
alert.
Ford versus Ferrari more.
In case you guys want to watch Gran Turismo, pause the podcast right now. Go watch Gran Turismo, then come back. That's your spoiler warning.
You can also Google it.
I owe
mean,
Rene
it's
an
a true
apology.
story.
It is a true story. I owe Rene an apology because yesterday you said, "You know what? I like this movie better than Ford versus Ferrari," and then we both were like, "No."
And then we both jumped on him.
Yeah. Okay, I owe him an apology.
And we both
because
punched him
I
in the nuts
sat
a
on
couple
this. I
times.
slept on this. I slept on Gran Turismo, okay? And I thought about it. Gran Turismo is better than Ford versus Ferrari, depending, shut your mouth, depending on the angle in which you see it.
What angle are you looking at it from?
From a fun, adrenaline-fueled perspective, Gran Turismo is miles better than Ford versus Ferrari. From a filmmaking perspective, it's next door. From a filmmaking perspective, Ford versus Ferrari is better. Because Ford versus Ferrari is a good story, Gran Turismo is just straight out like...
I was telling Renee on the way home, I think that Gran Turismo would have been a really cool miniseries.
No.
Because I
That
wanted,
makes sense.
I wanted to.
The way that this story was told, you could have cut it into at least 6 different episodes.
Story
Maybe
is not
3.
good.
The story was not good for Gran Turismo?
I think this... Okay, it's a true story. You
Yeah.
can't change it.
Can't
right?
change
It
too
just wasn't
much.
told well.
What do you mean?
Okay,
No.
I don't care about
Wait,
the love
hang
story.
on.
What
I felt like the
love
love
story?
story was like...
But this is what I'm saying. I think if you were to, I feel like there was so much room for a lot of things to be, like, just drawn out. Like, let me spend more time with the girl that he's with. Let me spend more time with his family. Because
Yeah, 'cause-
honestly, when we
yeah.
were driving home, I
Yeah.
was like, dude, so I don't know what happened in that writer's room or if the dude read the script beforehand, but his family looked like jerks. And I'm
Yeah.
not sure if it's just them or if they're
Because
British.
The moment
They're not
when
British. They're Welsh.
Okay, sorry.
They are what like redneck
Wales.
British.
No,
that's how it is.
If you
They're
call a
from Wales.
Welsh British, they get mad.
Okay,
but
fine.
if you're in Britain and you call the Welsh British,
Yeah.
it depends on what they do.
All right, listen.
Wait, what's
they're-
the difference between being Welsh and Cockney's? Because Cockney's is another like that's like bottom
I
of the
have no
barrel.
idea.
That's like bottom of the barrel, like British.
I'm gonna
I
walk
feel like
out of
that's
that
a-
conversation because I feel like I'm gonna say something really offensive if I go further than that.
I feel like that's a category on Pornhub.
You guys never heard of the word Cockney's?
No,
Really? It's
What?
because
I think
of
I've
their,
heard of it
Yeah,
once.
I know Cockney. Like
Yeah.
I know the Cockney accent and everything else.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying.
yeah, I know. But I mean, I've never heard the term Cockneys,
Yeah.
but also right on.
But that's how they
I've never heard that
describe people over
before.
there. Yeah,
I've
they
never
said
heard
it in
that.
that term before. Yeah.
But
That's Britain land.
It's Britain land.
Yeah, it is.
But that's-
we're
but-
in America, land of the free.
We don't drink
Bald
tea.
eagles fly. They drink tea. We drink
Didn't we-
coffee, dude.
wait, didn't we kill those?
What?
Did we kill most of the bald eagles?
No, they're endangered. It's
Oh
fine.
yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, that's
Alright.
a national
'Cause we-
bird.
Yeah,
in-
because we
killed most of
Yeah, I was
them.
gonna
It's,
say.
you know what? It's fine. Freedom flies. All right.
Anyway, yeah, not for long.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was it? But that was the reason why I was saying I felt like a lot of the
Louis
story was
Google's-
very
our
rushed.
Bald eagles almost stinked.
No, but that was my thing though. Is I felt like there was a lot of stuff that was in there. There was just like, and that's done.
Basically.
And it was like, okay, there's 20 there. Congratulations, these 20 people that all made it in here, and half of them are gone. And you were just like, okay, cool. Like I guess
So it's interesting because
only 5 people matter.
Gran Turismo, based on a true story, is based on the story of a kid who basically won a Gran Turismo race, the video game, went into the academy, raced a couple races, got his license, almost died, then raced in Le Mans and
got third.
podiumed.
Yeah, he got third.
No, you don't say it that way. It says
He
podiumed.
podiumed,
He
sure.
podiumed.
Okay, he got
Because
third.
that's
He top three.
prestigious.
He bronzed.
He bro-
He bronzed.
He got a bronze medal.
Yeah.
yeah, basically.
Let's all
But,
remember
yeah,
he didn't win.
He won, dude. He won
didn't.
in our hearts. That's all that matters.
Listen.
He won for the gamers.
Okay, whatever.
For the gamers, dude.
Yeah.
You know, that's what
Up
it
until he
was.
killed someone.
Bruh.
After he did murder a guy with a car.
Yeah, did murder the guy with
Yeah,
his own car.
So
he should be in jail. No, I'm just
stop,
not,
dude.
He shouldn't. That's not his fault.
He listens
It
to
wasn't
the
his
show.
fault.
He
It was
listens
the
to the show,
company's
and he's
fault.
just like the Nicholas Valero guy. No,
You know what's actually really messed up? You know what's really funny? I was very curious and I almost wanted to Google it on like why the car lifted
You don't know why it lifted?
I know they said that it was like it was a. I didn't know like the science of it.
So the wind, because of that.
Yeah, because he was driving really fast.
He was driving really fast. I
So-
know that.
and there was like a little intake.
So that part
track.
of the track in Nürburgring, right?
It-
Basically, as the car is driving, you have this downforce on the front of the car.
Right.
Right? So it's being pushed down against the cement.
Right.
As he's coming up that hill, the wind doesn't cut. So he's actually
It
coming, though
literally
there's wind
lifted
resistance
the-
here
Oh.
and wind resistance here.
Yeah.
So
So
it
that's
lifted
why,
it.
yes.
So it lifted
Did
like
you
a
not go?
wing.
Because Renee and I knew
Yeah.
what was going to happen the moment the hill was there.
Mhm.
We
Oh,
both
no,
were
I-
like, oh, this dude's messed up hard.
Yeah.
In all
Stuff that-
fairness, no, I had no idea.
Oh,
about
okay.
this.
Yeah. So
I
basically,
was
the wind,
clueless.
there was the wind it's basically like the wind acted like a road
Mhm.
soon as he went up that hill.
Mhm.
So the car just went whoosh and just flew off.
Yeah, that was sick.
Mhm.
That was pretty cool.
That- Man, a person died.
Well, not that part. But I mean,
No, but the way that they
the way they
wrecked
showed
the
it,
car,
yeah, that was pretty sick.
That was
Like,
practical too,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, man, they actually killed the guy.
Now you say it.
Neil
It was so
Blomkamp
cool.
wanted-
A guy died.
Neil Blomkamp literally said, "We got to make this real. Who's willing to die?"
Which intern do I not like? You got my coffee order
No,
wrong.
but
Get over there.
overall, the movie was really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
David
that's fun.
Harbour was a great addition to
David
the cast.
Arbor really knows how to carry a movie on his
Dude,
back.
seriously.
Orlando Bloom was basically Orlando Bloom,
Yeah,
but without the
yeah.
pirate accent.
yeah,
Yeah, it was still there.
Yeah.
It was still there a little bit.
I'm Will Turner.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Half
Johnny
the
Depp. Nissan.
half the movie, he's still yelling Jack.
Yeah, that's
He
true.
was.
Half
Jack!
the movie, Jack. You better get him on back.
Get him back on the Black Pearl.
Sorry, wrong movie.
Oh, sorry.
Wrong movie.
Sorry, Neil.
You know what? I'm gonna say it. I
Yeah.
don't like the way the Brits say Nissan.
Nissan?
It's
Nissan?
Nissan.
Nissan.
It's Nissan. It's Nissan.
Join the Nissan
Sorry,
team.
I speak bald eagle freedom. All right.
God.
You sound
Nissan.
you sound very ignorant right now.
Yeah.
You
You sound very America right now.
Very
You sound-
American, dude. I'm
you
sorry.
sound-
It's Nissan.
Listen, you sound very red.
How do the
cap.
Japanese say it?
You're sounding very red cap
If
right
the
now. I don't
Japanese say
appreciate it.
Nissan, fine. But if they say Nissan, then we're right.
I'm almost positive the Japanese
Team Nissan.
don't say it Nissan.
Mhm.
How do they say it then?
I don't know, but let's not go down that road.
I was
Let's
like,
not-
what's Nick's answer here? I was
You want to
You want to Google it? You want to Google what's how do you
Google
pronounce?
say it? If Google says Nissan, dude, I swear Google's not
You're
an
gonna throw
American
your
company.
phone.
Marching straight to Silicon Valley right now,
But I-
saying
I-
like, "Fix your goddamn Google
But
right
you know
now."
what? It is for everything. It's a good underdog story. it's
The
a-
racing is better in Gran Turismo
Then in what?
than in Ford versus Ferrari. Dynamically, yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I was more like,
Your heart?
the,
Were you
the
more into
anxiety was a little bit more.
Dude,
up
Renee
there.
saw it when one of the caps off the tire fell off. It was, God damn it, dude.
Yeah.
Stupid ass pit crew.
All of us in the theater too was like, God damn it! like,
What freaking job,
Yeah.
dude? Went from 5th to 9th.
ugh,
That's stressful, dude.
yeah.
Yeah, man, it happens. That
Have you
fast.
seen the Le Mans?
No.
Oh, it's great, dude.
Mhm.
Yeah, you just sitting there 24 hours.
No,
just-
you watch it every now and then. You hop in, but like because I used to watch motorsports with my dad,
Mhm.
and it was always funny because my dad taught me as a little kid. It's like the last 10 to 15 laps are the best thing when it comes to motorsports
Mhm.
because everyone gets aggressive.
My dad took me to NASCAR one day, and we showed up late. We showed
That's
up.
the end of the story. I was
No,
like, is
like
there
we-
more? To
No, like he was
I
like
want to be a part of this story.
no, because there was
I went to NASCAR.
because he took us to go see a NASCAR race, and we showed up late. We showed up on time, and we were watching it. And like I think we were getting sunburn, and we're probably like 25 laps in.
Did you get to the Irwindale?
Yeah, we went to
Sure,
Irwindale,
okay.
and then we were watching it. My dad turned to me and my brother and went, "You guys want to go get food and then come back?" So then we left. We went to go get food. Like I think we went to go get In-N-Out. We came back like an hour later.
Yeah, because like,
And then we watched like the
interesting
last
part-
like 20
Look,
to 30 minutes.
I get it. Because F1's picking up popularity. It's still popular, but
I have a buddy of mine who just like he follows
Yeah,
that religiously.
F1's going crazy right now.
I mean, that just reminds me of the episode of Malcolm in the Middle when Hal takes the boys to go see
NASCAR.
and it's just the whole time it's just yeah. Yeah.
House
Like, that's
house
it.
all burned.
Yeah, house all burned, and then Malcolm's like, what do I get to do? He goes, you get to tally whenever they make a lap.
And he's just crossing
Yeah,
it
just-
off.
I forgot about that episode.
Yeah,
It's a good episode.
I'm like, oh man, it did not make watching NASCAR fun.
And you know what the worst part is? When I went, it was exactly that.
Yeah.
It was 100%.
But going back to the movie, the racing is dynamically better
give
in
you
Gran
that.
Turismo.
Yeah.
I will give you
Because that's the thing is the way I see it. Who directed Ford versus Ferrari?
Oh, let me see.
I know it was like it's not some like one-off director. It's a
No,
pretty-
he's pretty big.
yeah. But Ford versus Ferrari was very artful. It's a good biopic. It's a great biopic, actually. It's a great biopic.
Oh, James Mangold.
There you go. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's a good biopic. Racing's done beautifully. Even the scene where you're racing in the Le Mans and he's racing in the rain, perfect. I think it is a really well shot scene.
In Ford
Ford
versus
versus
Ferrari.
Ferrari. In Gran Turismo, like Rene and I were saying, dynamically it just works because you're so engrossed into the racing that even though some of the scenes are super short, you can feel the intensity. And I think it has to do with the sound mixing as well. Because that movie was loud.
I do feel that the reason why I like Ford versus Ferrari a little bit more is because of the dynamic between Christian Bale and Matt Damon.
Oh yeah,
I feel like their chemistry was better than Gran Turismo
sure. I mean, I'm not gonna
for
fence-
David Harbour and the main actor. I don't know his name. I can't remember his name right now.
Oh, the guy that plays John or
Jan.
Juan. Jan. Yeah. There's no wrong answer. I think Ford versus Ferrari and Gran Turismo are both great movies. I just think it depends on how you consume your racing movies.
I think
Maybe you
they're-
like it spicy, Gran Turismo. Maybe you like it fancy, you go Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and I
Ford
do.
versus Ferrari is a Manhattan.
I do feel.
Gran Turismo's a tiki drink.
I do feel that Ford versus Ferrari is the better biopic, though. By
Is
far.
Gran Turismo a biopic?
I mean, yeah, it's based on a true story.
Sure. I guess.
They're both based on a true story. Yes or no?
Yeah. Okay.
No. I'm just gonna.
Fine. I'll just
Go ahead.
I'll just throw out the first 5 seconds of that movie
Go ahead.
based on a true story. Just
Yep.
cut that little
So
scene.
Rip that
before we
part
move
off.
on to the next topic, I gotta ask this: did any of you guys feel at any point that the movie was an advertisement for the game? Because I feel like that's the biggest complaint most people are having.
I
That it's
mean,
an advertise for the game.
if you
Yeah.
want to be a stickler about it, yeah, that's the thing.
Mhm.
I mean, it does show they keep upping the game. Like, oh, the game's like such a good what is it?
Simulator.
This is
simulator,
the best
yeah.
simulator ever created.
Even the main character was like, when the girl's like, oh, I hear that's like a really cool game. It's a simulator. I'm like, okay, like,
Shut up.
Yeah, like
I'm more of a Forza Motorsports guy. I played Gran Turismo 4. It's
Yeah.
fine.
I always liked Gran Turismo. Gran
Yeah, it's,
Turismo's
never
fun.
played
got
it.
It's fine.
don't like racing games.
Yeah, it's fine. Gran Turismo's great. You know, there's an actual 24-hour race in Gran Turismo. You have to leave your console on for 24 hours.
What?
Yeah. You have to. You're basically the chief engineer,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you're basically telling the driver,
Mhm.
"Oh, hey, you need to like drive, moderately, be
Mhm.
aggressive on this turn, so on
Be
and
better.
so forth."
Mhm.
Yeah.
Be
So you
slower.
leave the TV on for 24 hours, and you have to like basically race that way. Yeah. That was in Gran Turismo 4. I don't know if they do it for 5, 6, or 7.
I have no idea.
I will say,
That's
I
ridiculous.
will say,
Yeah.
there's one thing that did piss me off about this movie.
What?
There's no actual way that you play Gran Turismo and can tell that your brakes are not working right.
No,
I didn't
because
buy that.
what was
They
it?
glazing.
They glazed.
Yeah,
Glazed
the brakes
over.
glazed. So
What
I
does that
played
mean?
this game over and over again, and I know what it is.
What does it mean that the brakes are glazed?
The pads were worn, so when what was it? When it actually went to go grab the wheel, the actual rotor, instead of it grabbing and making a firm like grip, it's just glazing.
so
over
it just
the
got
rotor.
wasted.
Yeah, so it's basically a
It's a
warped.
British term.
It's a warped.
No, the
brake
disc
pad.
isn't warped.
No,
It's
no,
the
no.
pads.
Yeah, it's a brake. It's
Pads
a
are
warped.
worn.
The
Brake
pads are
pad. That's
glazed.
exactly what I just said.
No,
Yes.
the pads don't warp. The disc warps.
Your Discord.
It didn't make a strong connection.
Yeah.
So it's glazing over the rotor, and it's not making a full on connection to grab.
I gotta watch that scene again because I thought the tires locked.
No, he's trying to hit it, and the tires keep going. That's why he runs straight into the wall. Into
The brakes weren't grabbing.
The brakes weren't grazing.
I gotta watch that scene.
That's why he said the brakes glazed over.
Okay, I gotta watch that scene because I thought the tires locked, and that's why it's like, oh, dude, it doesn't have the anti-braking system didn't work.
No, because that's why he said I hit the brakes. I did hit the brakes. And he goes, no, you drove into the wall because the tires kept spinning.
Because it's about commitment. That's what it is. Final thoughts on the movie.
It was good. I liked it.
Good.
I had fun.
Yeah, it's great. 7 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
7 or 8. 7.5.
I want to give it like
Give it a 9.
solid.
Give it a 9.
It's a solid 7.
Okay.
Like a good hard 7. Yeah.
Good, hard, firm 7.
I can't give it an 8, because I feel like I would have to like it a little bit more, but because I'm just a casual person, don't know about the game, but I had fun watching it. David Harbour was great. Orlando Bloom was great. 7.
6. Then it worked up into a 7 from Act 2, and then Act 3 was a solid 8.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Nick, are you ready?
So give it like a C+ altogether.
Yeah, basically.
Round.
We recommend it.
Did you just give it a 20? A 6, a 7, and then an 8?
21.
It's a 20.
6 plus 7 is 13.
Oh, no, you're right. It is a 21.
Dummy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Now you don't get to talk about Ahsoka. You're grounded.
No,
he
shut
does.
up.
Come on. He's the only
Why
one.
do you have to be the nice
because he's
parent,
the
dude?
only one that can fill a half an hour
Yeah.
of Ahsoka. I ain't gonna do it. Are you gonna do it?
Nope.
Then shut up and let him talk. So we watch Ahsoka, guys. Nick, take it
Ahsoka.
over.
Great. Awesome. All right, we ready to take a nap? While Nick talks about the history of Rebels and Clone Wars.
In all fairness, I actually wanted to get you guys' opinion because I was asking Renee on the way to Gran
You want to know what
Turismo.
my opinion is?
Not really.
You want to know what it is?
He's like,
I
okay.
had a crisis
You had a why?
because I was fighting evil inside of me, dude.
What?
What was
Because part of me wanted to
Light
hate
in the
this.
dark.
Dude, I did. I
did you
wanted to
have-
hate
did-
this show because of you.
why?
Because I don't want you to experience happiness with Ahsoka.
Oh my god.
I don't. And then I was just like, no, I can't let this darkness inside me like take over. I have to understand that this is a good show.
is a
And
good
then
show.
you spoke and opened your mouth again. I'm like, God damn it, dude, I hate this show. I don't want this to succeed. And then I thought about it like, no, I love Nick. Nick is a great friend. He's one of my bestest friends. I can't be a jerk
This
to him.
internal struggle that I have.
This temptation.
I'm
The
giving into
darkness in you.
this darkness I have inside of me.
My anger, my lust for power.
But my love
way-
for Nick overshadows it.
The way you said that, it made me feel like you had bad Indian food. And you were, and you were like, I've just been fighting this darkness
Yeah.
that's inside me.
You know, I was so hesitant on eating this Indian food. But then when I saw the peanut butter curry, I was like, you know what? It's good. And I kept eating it. I'm like, no, I can't. I gotta stop.
It's because you make me angry when you're happy.
So
dude.
what? So okay, but so here were my big things because me personally, I loved it.
I know you do. What,
I thought it was a lot of fun.
Star
I
Wars
loved
can
it.
cheat on you and you still love it.
I think it's safe to say that no matter what, Nick was gonna love it.
Yeah,
regardless.
exactly.
Yeah.
Which makes me hate it more.
No,
fine.
because
No, that's fine.
I've been judgmental about Star Wars stuff.
Have you though?
No, there's Star Wars stuff I don't like.
I want you to like get mad at Star Wars one day. I just want you to
will.
like get
I
so
did.
mad
You
that
will.
like you like
It's
have a
still early
crisis.
for Ahsoka. We'll see. You know.
That was episode 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Where I just felt like I kept getting punched in the nuts
Okay.
just over and over again.
We should have seen Star Wars 8 and 9 together. I wanted to see Nick mad.
Dude, I was so pissed.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen that.
You ever seen? You've never seen me walk out of a movie theater just like cursing like a lot,
Yeah,
like yelling.
man.
I was
What's
yelling.
your name? Ray Skywalker.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you be a Solo?
Yeah.
You didn't even like that dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I can see red in his eyes.
I was so
He
upset.
plopped-
Okay,
he
that's
plopped
not.
a
I'm
bed.
not gonna go down this
Apparently
path.
that's a trigger for me.
I'm not gonna go down this path.
What do you want to know?
Anyway. No, I wanted to know. Okay, so the thing is that Ahsoka is essentially just season 6 of like Rebels. It's just,
Yeah. It's a
that's-
continuation for Rebels.
It's a continuation for Star Wars Rebels, and then also it has a connection into Clone Wars.
Mhm.
It's using a lot of the old material that Dave Filoni has built with George Lucas and also by himself with Rebels. I wanted to know because both of you hadn't seen Clone Wars and Rebels.
And I never will.
How were at any point were you just like I'm just lost.
You want to go
Like,
first?
I have no idea.
Yeah. For me,
the episode started.
no, it was. I mean, I picked it up pretty well. There was just some details that I was questioning, and it was the ones I asked you yesterday when it came to why Ahsoka felt the need to go to Sabine when it came to the map.
Yes.
Of opening up the map. And then another one was how did Sabine obtain a green lightsaber? And that was it. I kind of picked everything up on my own, you know. I mean, it's your classic, you know, story of like, we got to get through this task and stuff like that. It felt like I was watching or I was playing also Fallen Order. That's the way it began. That's the thing. So it was very easy, you know, you see, you know, Ahsoka go into this little temple room or this little puzzle area to unlock a little secret to find and stuff like that. But what I think my question is, so the objective of finding the map is to find General Thrawn.
Yeah.
So my question is, how Thrawn's being gone for so long, why is it that they need to go into an ancient room and find the map? How's the location of Thrawn in that room and stuff like that? If it's
Can I attempt to answer it based off what Nick has taught me?
You know what? I want to hear this.
Okay.
I want to see if
because my question is like, okay, this has been a room, like, was this room set up like after Thrawn, and then it's like, oh, here's the location of Thrawn, we're gonna put it in this little puzzle room and
I'm
stuff
gonna
like
explain
that.
it in basic bitch because I don't understand anything.
about to hurt you.
What? No, because I'm not gonna use the correct terminology.
All right,
here.
well, just
You're gonna go
Casual,
like
no,
Thrawn!
casual fan.
okay. Casual fan, not basic.
I know. I mean, I'll admit it. I'm a casual Star Wars fan.
Let me break it down the way Nick did, basic bitch style. That's the way I took what you just
I
said.
didn't call you that.
Hold on, yes or no? Is that how that sounded?
Okay, my bad. I didn't mean to call you that. I meant to say like I'm
That's
not
why
gonna.
I was like, where is that coming from? I'm asking you a legit
That's
I
question.
just love Star Wars.
Yeah.
Why am I getting?
I know, why am I
thrown
being
around?
attacked? Why am I being attacked? I'm just asking you a
He
question.
climbs over the table. This is the moment he breaks, dude. It wasn't episode 9. It was this moment when I called him that. So in the stuff that you've taught me, from what I understand, is that Thrawn got basically sent out somewhere off in the galaxy
By
where
space
it's
whales.
Space whales.
by space whales, right?
Yeah.
Because what you've told us before in previous issues is that the way light speed works is they're pre-existing paths that you know starships use to go from point A to point B.
Yes.
So we know that. But Thrawn used a light speed path that is not mapped out anywhere, and Ahsoka basically goes into this ancient temple with space witches, from what I understood in the show, that basically shows them a hidden light speed path that could theoretically take them to where Thrawn is at.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
So he took a path that's
Did I do you proud?
Yeah, actually, I'm really proud of you.
Thanks,
yeah,
man. I appreciate you.
The,
Love you, Nick.
it's kind of like a think of it as like a what was it, like a hibernation path for Purgles.
Okay.
So like they
That's
like
that's the term of the space whales.
yeah, they're called a
Purgles.
You're
Purgle.
so stupid.
Yeah, I know. Don't get me.
I mean, it's
You know what the worst part is? I remember when I first watched Rebels, and then the episode where Purgles showed up, and everybody went like, "That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard." And then the final episode, it was just kind of like Dave Filoni going like, "You guys didn't like them? They're the most important thing in this entire show. I'm gonna shove them down your throat."
it just like jumps off the cliff.
Yeah, you didn't like Purgles? They're now the most important thing in the world. You want
my story?
Which is really funny too, because in episode 2, you actually see a Purgle.
Yeah.
It's in the sky when Balin looks into the sky.
I feel like
You see a Purgle
In
flying.
episode 2?
Yeah, when he's like
Attack of the Clones?
no, in the second episode of Ahsoka,
Oh.
you see a Purgle.
What?
oh really?
Yeah,
I didn't
you-
notice that. Where?
Yeah, when Balin tells her to go to Corellia,
oh
and then you hear like this like ooh, like in the distance. It's like it sounds more like music, and it's kind of mixed in. And if you look in the
now
air,
I
you
hate
can
this
see a
sh-
Purgle
Yeah.
in the sky.
oh okay. When we saw Purgles in Lightspeed in Mandalorian, right?
Yeah, and those
Yeah.
were Purgles in the Mandalorian
Yeah,
as well.
okay. So
So
you
the-
guys didn't know.
Yeah, so the reason why also like what was it?
I
They
feel like Dave Filoni tries to implement Purgles.
That's why-
just so fans can just say Purgles.
Purgle.
Yeah.
Dude, this makes us worse. If we know this, it makes us worse. Because try explaining that to a casual. Well, it's Purgles. They're light speed
Oh
whales.
yeah, I know. So I was.
And they're
I
called
was-
Purgles.
I
You know what
was-
I think of
yeah.
Purgles? Furby.
You know what the worst part is? It's a lightspeed whale with an octopus legs.
Yeah.
And then
So,
like the legs go out
I was
and then
already
they
telling
glow.
Nick this. I feel like Mandy can't watch this show because she doesn't know a lot that's going on. That's the thing. It requires there's the one drawback about this show is that it does require a lot of required reading and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why what was it on the the planet that they were like that's the planet that Thrawn's on.
Yeah.
That's why there was Purgo around it because
yeah.
it's kind of like this is where they go to mate or this is where they go to like hibernate or anywhere else. Like this is just a natural place that Purgles
What
go
if this
to.
entire story is Dave Filoni just trying to make global warming woke again? It's like all the Empire is
Trying to
basically
inconvenient truth it.
the Empire figured out this one path that the Purgles are using for hibernation. Now that the Empire knows, they're gonna just basically destroy
Nobody, but the thing is that nobody messes with Purgles because Purgles are basically like invulnerable. They just like literally they'll fly through ships. It's ridiculous. They're going at such like fast speeds. It's kind of like doing the Holdo maneuver over and over again, and the Purgles feel nothing. So they just go through ships. That's why you have to like you have to know their
Purgles.
well because
Say
Purgles are
Purgles
very
again.
important. They're
Say-
very
say
important to
Purgles
the show.
Purgles.
So anyway, but okay, so you guys were able to pick it up though. You were able
Yeah.
to pick up the show.
That's
and
the
understand it.
problem that I have with this show. You
You
want
were
the
able to
honest truth
follow
about
it. That's
You
the
were,
problem.
you were able to follow it. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry that they made a
You're
coherent
like, I
show.
understood that. Damn it! It's like, oh, there's
hate that I
Sabine.
got
I
it.
know who she is. Damn it! Like,
Damn it, I'm on board.
oh yeah. Oh, they're talking about Ezra. Damn it! I know about Ezra too.
Nick just won't shut up.
Yeah.
Get out of my hood, Nick.
He told me who that guy was.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so what was your problem with the show?
So I told you this. This is okay. You frustrated me when I
Why?
sent that. No, because this is why. I don't want you happy.
You did your
sometimes,
job
okay?
too well.
You did.
So sorry I explained the show
I don't
properly.
want you happy, okay?
Whatever.
Because I wanted to get a point across when
Okay.
I posted the review on the chat, okay? But you being happy ruined it. So I hate
I
these.
wanted you sad. I wanted you dead.
I wanted you to feel, damn it, all right?
Oh, was it because you were like, oh yeah, this reviewer said that it was like really slow and they were explaining far
Yes,
too much,
because-
and then I was like, oh yeah, it's almost as if they had like so much lore that they needed to explain to everybody
Yes,
and then
okay.
get us and then
So-
get moving on the show.
The problem I have is that the reviewers, and I hate this so much from reviewers because I think one, it's
morons?
irresponsible. No, it's irresponsible for reviewers to do this. You give a show a low score because there's too much lore behind it. I told you this. If a show has too much lore behind it, but it gives you a Sparks Note version of it in the first episode, but it still progresses the story,
Yeah.
it's doing its job.
Yeah.
And I went into Ahsoka with low expectations. But the fact
Oh,
that
do you
these-
think they were gonna do that? Like,
I thought I wanted that to happen because I haven't seen Rebels. You and I haven't seen Rebels or Clone Wars.
No.
So we're basically just going off the encyclopedia of Nick over here to
Yeah.
basically go through the show.
well, that's
right?
the thing. Is even then, and I'm watching it in a mindset of like I'm just tuning this in now.
Yeah.
It was it's still easy to pick up, but there are some subtle details that when they're talking about certain characters, you're like, oh, okay, so that must be that they have a relationship with Ezra, and stuff like that. If you didn't know what happened to Ezra at all, they do obviously mention it.
Yeah.
They mentioned that he disappeared at the
That's
Battle
the
of
thing,
Lothal.
yeah.
So the show does a good job at moving the plot forward.
Yeah.
It has the details already. It tells you as it progresses. The best way to describe it is that yes, there is a lot of lore you should know, but it's not going to take away from the fact that the show is well done.
Yeah.
And it's a good show. It's shot well. You can tell that it's made with love. There's progression in the story because none of the characters default back to something that makes them weaker. They're basically starting off from where they were before. Right. And even if you use Ahsoka as a reference, because we've seen her in Mandalorian, she doesn't seem weak. She's already knows what she's doing, and she seems like a character that will basically solve the problem at the end of the show. Right. So we get that. The thing is that nothing is really well explained until about 20 minutes into the first episode. And that's its biggest weak point, because from that point on, if you're a new viewer who's only seen the live action shows and nothing else, you're not going to like this show. It'll be very hard to swallow. You either have to be very invested and very detail oriented to like the show, or you're going to fall off immediately. Because we talked about this. The fact that Ahsoka goes through and walks through the path that Sabine and the Hera were fighting in, and there's tiny little noises of the fight happening, that is not a detail that most people would pick up.
Oh, you're talking about when Sabine and the new Sith apprentice
That one, yeah.
are fighting. Yeah.
That's super small. You picked it up or no?
No.
So there's echoes of the lightsaber fight happening. And so as you were closing up the shop, I asked Nick, I'm like, was that because Ahsoka can pick up previous events using the Force? And it's something that she picks up. But
that she
that's
picked
such
up.
a small detail that could be seen as, oh, it's just kind of like reliving the past of, like, you know, as the audience you get to hear it again, or you maybe don't pick it up at all.
And that's something that you've done that some people would recognize from Fallen Order or from what was it, Fallen, or like Survivor or anything like that, because that Cal Kestis has that ability where he can touch things and then he can he can remember things from the item or from the location or something else.
The show's good. The show is good. It's not, I think it's great, but that's because I've been taught by Nick. We've been taught by Nick. Shut up. We've been taught by him to basically know and understand this.
Yeah.
But from a casual perspective, I think the show is okay.
Yeah. It's good for Star Wars fans. Casual fans can easily pick it up as well too. It's not too hard to decipher, but I'm talking about casual Star Wars fans, not casual people. Like people that just watch just the live
bitches?
action. Yeah, just like the live action medium and haven't watched a spick of animated stuff at all. Because I never watched the Clone Wars. I never watched Rebels. Still haven't watched any of like Tales of the Jedi, or even they did an animated one of Clone Wars that was like the animation of like Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not canon.
Is that one's not canon?
That one's technically not canon. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See,
That one was the movie that came out before the show.
before the CGI
And
series?
before the CGI series, and then it bombed, and then they redid it.
Oh, okay.
Because that one is kind of like how Anakin becomes a Jedi Master, and it also explains his scar and everything else. But it never.
But he was never granted the rank of master.
Well, yeah, he's a Jedi Knight.
Yeah.
But
Show's okay.
No, the show's good. I still liked it.
and I mean the cool things about it was I'm really hoping that it does spark that whole, hey, I want to see more of these characters. These characters are fun.
Yeah.
And, you know, go further into it and kind of inspire people to go like, hey, like if you really want, you can go and watch 4 seasons with these people, and you can go check these people out and everything else. And I think Filoni does that really well when it comes to not only Clone Wars, but also Rebels. Because in Rebels, when you were watching Rebels, it made you want to watch Clone Wars. And then same thing with Ahsoka. Ahsoka is making you want to watch Rebels because you're like, I feel like there's so much more to what they're saying and everything else. And then there's a lot more details when you see it and you're like, oh man, I remember that. Okay, cool. I know exactly what they're talking about.
The payoff is better if you're a fan, if you've seen the previous works before. And that's great. I think that's fine. You guys deserve it.
You've made the investment.
Yeah, exactly. So if you made the investment, you deserve to be rewarded with the show. And that's why don't look it up, because then you're going to be stuck on the internet. GameSpot gave it a 3 out of 10.
Here was my thing though. I feel like people went to go watch this show and they literally just gave them, here's the disc or here's the code. Go watch it in the room, and then I need you to make a review. Because I was seeing a lot of people who were talking about it, and I felt like they had no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah,
like the reviews just sounded very confused, where they were just like, "Well, you know, who's Thrawn? Who's Ezra Bridger? I guess they're from like Rebels."
So the wrong people reviewed it.
Like the wrong people are reviewing it, and it's not somebody that's like really like in depth or like they're having this like connection to it. And not only that, but also
Nick.
No, but I also feel too, because I remember reading a couple of like reviews where it was like, oh, it's 3 out of 10, or it's a 4 out of 10.
That's
And
really low.
yeah, but the thing is that I was then reading the review, and then they were like, it really does well doing this, and then like they're praising the show, and it's kind of like, you praised it so many times. I don't know why you put it so low.
I've had a lot of people, customers come in, and we were talking about it, and I told them the thing is that I really hold off until like the last minute to watch Ahsoka, because we have to watch it for the
show,
for the podcast and stuff like that. But the thing is that the initial, when it did get released, I wasn't driven to go see it, you know, to sit down and watch it. I literally had to force myself to watch it, and I was really afraid that was gonna tarnish my review on it. And I talked about it with other customers, and a lot of customers were like, yeah, I don't feel like I should watch it, or I'm gonna watch it. It's not like, oh yeah, it's out, I need to watch it. So a lot of people say, so would you call that Star Wars fatigued, or would you call that, you know, are you not, is the hype gone? And a lot of people said, well, it's not gone, it's just that after Mandalorian season 3, I'm just kind of done, you know.
Which I understand to a point.
Yeah.
So well, because you're a diehard.
But
you're married to Star Wars.
I feel like the reason why I don't understand that is because I get it if it was Mando season 4, and then you were like, I get it, like, you know, how many more stories can we really tell with Mando? It's kind of like, you know, the Expendables 6. Like how many more stories can we tell with these guys? And everything else. Whereas this is an entirely different, like, part of the galaxy. It's entirely new batch of characters.
I think what it is that it's both of like, fans know that, are aware that this is a story continuing on from another Star Wars medium, and it's that vibe of like, do I need to watch this before I should watch this? Can I enjoy it just by picking it up from here and stuff like that? It just feels like it's work.
It is.
And I think that's what turns off a lot of people to watch it and stuff like that.
I'm going to say it.
And I think since the thing is though, is really quick, before Disney bought Star Wars, or the Lucas Arts, you know, when we got Star Wars medium, it was very sporadic. It was very kind of like a little treasure that we got, like, oh cool, like a Star Wars show or new episodes of Star Wars, and then a couple of years down the line we got a movie, and I was like, okay, cool. Now that Disney has picked it up, and it's the same thing happening to Marvel, we're getting all this content and really fast, and in between there's no break, there's anticipation. Yeah, there's no anticipation anymore. We're just basically, in a couple of months, because like what we had Secret Invasion just like a little less than a month ago, and then now we're having Star Wars again this month, and again there's no break. There was no break. There was no anticipation. Like you said. And you know what, the medium has, I mean, not the medium, the content has very much changed. I thought it was so funny when somebody had posted, I think it was like Jedi Academy. It was like little Jedi Academy, and it was like a bunch of kids, and they're all like, oh my God, we're Jedi, and everything else. And then like, it was like, this is my son's Star Wars shows, Star Wars animated. This is mine, and it's literally a scene of Ahsoka Tano in between 5 Mandalorians, and she jumps up and chops 5 people's heads off, and then lands. Like, you just see all of them fall forward, and you just see helmets roll, and you're like, and he's like, oh yeah, that's my Star Wars. It's vastly different. It's a vastly different like medium, because it was Lucasfilm. It was like, it's very much like, this is the story that George is telling, and then now it's like, okay, well, we have to make it kiddie, and we have to make this, and we have to do this.
I don't know if I've said this before, but I feel like Disney buying Lucasfilms was both a blessing and a curse, because the thing that turned me off about Star Wars as a kid was that the fans were just atrocious. They were terrible. They gate kept everything. It wasn't accessible because things were canon, things were not. I've said this before, right?
It made it confusing.
It made it confusing. It was confusing. It was difficult to get into. It's the same problem. It was the same. It's the same problem I have right now with Halo. I can't get into it because there's books, there's games, and
some happened, some didn't.
Yeah, exactly. So it's huge, right? But you are right in the sense that there's just too much content coming out that now there's this kind of like, oh, you know, what do I care about? What do I want to watch? What do I invest my time in? And Ahsoka, I feel like, is getting into that territory of, should I invest my time in to this show? And it has the potential danger of having gatekeepers, of, well, if you don't watch Ahsoka, then you're not a true Star Wars fan because
Well, now it's reached the point where it's reached the point now where Marvel's at where you have to watch everything to get what they're referencing now.
Yeah,
But you
but
know
Ahsoka
what?
doesn't do that.
But
To a point.
To a point, but at the same time, there are certain things that are easier to know what they're talking about if you did pay attention in Rebels or in Clone Wars.
Would you say that that's the responsibility of the fans then? Because Nick has explained Star Wars to us. We know enough about Star Wars. You know it based off the movies. I know it based off readings and certain things. I haven't seen Clone Wars or Rebels, and you and I haven't, right?
And then I show you clips.
Yeah. But Nick is that key to like allowing us to get into this world.
Yeah.
And he's explained it well. He's the responsible guy that's teaching us about Star Wars with respect.
Yeah.
You're doing that.
Yeah.
But you also have to admit that there's people out there that gatekeep the crap out of Star Wars.
I feel like that's in any fandom though. There's
That
always
there is.
I mean, it's not. Don't get me wrong. Star Wars gatekeeping is a atrocious thing that people do all the time. I feel like if you're a gatekeeper from Star Wars, you're not really a Star Wars fan because
You're not letting it grow.
You're not. Well, you're not letting it grow, but also you didn't understand.
Yeah.
You don't understand what Star Wars is. It's supposed to be open, and that's what George wanted, and that's what Dave wants, and it's supposed to be this thing that everybody can have fun with.
I was thinking about making this comparison when I was watching Ahsoka yesterday, that it could be comparable to something like Strange New Worlds. And the reason I say that is because Strange New Worlds is a prequel to the original show of Star Trek, but there's a lot of lore that goes in the back and in the front of that show. Because in order for you to understand Captain Pike's position, you have to understand what happened in Star Trek Discovery. And to understand the outcome of what's happening, you have to know what happened to him in the original series.
Don't get me wrong. I 100% agree with that. I do feel like Strange New Worlds has the same issue that Ahsoka does, where if you didn't watch Discovery and then you don't know what's going on, and then you jump in and then they make mention of like the Discovery crew. Oh, I wonder how they're doing, or like they make a sly comment at something when Pike was in charge of the Discovery, or anything else, or even in the future of like, oh yeah, Pike saw the future and he saw himself in an iron lung and everything else. Well, if you're a huge Star Trek fan,
then
you know what happens to him.
Yes.
And you're kind of like, oh, that's sick. I personally didn't know what happened to Captain Pike. I didn't know how he got into the iron lung. I ended up looking it up because I was very curious. Yeah. And I don't mind spoilers. But
spoiler.
Huh?
It's literally like a 2-3 episode run.
Yeah, I know.
Star Trek,
but I mean, but that's the thing. But that's what they're aiming towards.
Yeah.
They're aiming towards it, and the thing is that because they're aiming towards it, there's a lot of lore that's there. And a show shouldn't be afraid because it's packed with lore, or because it has a lot of very interesting things that are going on in it. And the Ghost Crew, I would compare them as closely to the Firefly crew. They're a family that is on a ship, and they
the show Firefly.
Yeah, the show Firefly.
Okay. I was like, okay,
because that's essentially what Rebels is. It's essentially Firefly in Star Wars with Jedi.
Now
it's basically what Rebels is.
The reason I brought up Strange New Worlds, and I'm gonna commit a blasphemous, act right now. Strange New Worlds is the example of what you should do in a show that has a lot of lore behind it and in front of it, and try to bring in new fans. Because Strange New Worlds does a really good job at not making you feel stupid if you don't know the lore. Granted, it has an easier path because it's Adventure of the Week, and that's how the story has kept going. Whereas Ahsoka is a continuation of a story that has already existed, right? There's a plot that has already existed, and it's going off of that. I think that if Ahsoka wants to succeed, Filoni needs to understand that he can't alienate new fans. Granted, he has to at some point because it's a continuation, but he's got to bring him into this idea of like, there is lore and you don't have to watch all these seasons of Rebels and Clone Wars. Maybe just understand the points. I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if it's true, actually. Disney released a timeline of what episodes to watch before you watched it.
It's like,
but they released it the day Ahsoka came out.
It was so dumb.
Which was stupid.
I don't know why Disney did that.
Yeah, why not release it a month before?
Yeah.
And then have it like there.
Yeah.
And then so that way you can then do like watch parties. You can do anything else. And it's like, hey guys, let's get ready for Ahsoka and everything else.
Because the same thing happens in comic books where I get new readers in and they pick up right where it's starting right now. And then when that arc is done, they immediately want to be like, I want to read how we got here and stuff like that. I guess for me personally, I don't have that part of my brain where it's like I need to find out what happened before. I'm more in the lines of like, I'm just gonna move forward.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna
but
go out of my
your
way.
experience.
Yeah.
I'm not
you can
looking
put
backwards.
the two. You can put the two together.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like I know basic storytelling, so it's like I can kind of piece it together and be like, oh, okay, well that's
Not only that,
Yeah.
but then like, because I then asked him too. I was like, did anything confuse you? And then he like was like,
Well,
these two things.
it's
Like I just
fire
did.
talk.
Yeah, like I didn't understand these two things.
Mhm.
And then as soon as he asked me, I then went, oh, yada yada yada, and this happened. And he goes,
But that's
oh,
yeah.
okay, cool.
That's
that
the
makes sense.
alienation that Disney's doing right now. It's not. I don't think it's Filoni's fault. I think just Disney kind of like
But I feel
didn't
like,
do it right.
but I feel like because Filoni had so much control over episode 1 and 2,
Mhm.
and not only that, but also just in general, the Ahsoka show in general, I feel like I feel like Ahsoka's getting judged very heavily for an 8-episode run for the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, and it's not right.
And that's not right because for one, there's a lot of lore and a lot of episodes that are to go. Like there's still a lot of stuff that can be explained. What was it called? It literally happened as we were watching episode 2, where you then said, "How did she get a lightsaber?"
Why does she have a lightsaber?
Or why does she have a lightsaber? And then I looked at the thing, and then she then goes, "Well, it's Ezra's lightsaber."
That was explained in one line. But
Yeah.
you see what I mean? That you could miss that line and then not understand it at all. That's the problem that the show has. And again, you're right. The show's being judged way too heavily for the first 2 episodes. Understandable. You got to let it go for the full 8 before you can actually judge the show.
And I do think they are making a good attempt at opening up the gate
Yes.
and allowing people in.
But you got to pay attention. You have to pay attention.
I mean, I've never watched a show and been like, I'm going to watch a brand new episode of something and just not pay attention to it.
Well,
That seems
yes,
really
but I mean,
that
like,
seems really silly. I'm going to spend
you never
an
stop.
hour and a half.
You never stop and go on your phone.
When I'm
like-
watching a show, a show for the first time,
Yeah.
no,
See,
I don't.
some people do.
Yeah, Mandy does that when you watch a movie.
Andy does that.
Monica does that.
Yeah.
See, there you go. We know people that do.
Yeah.
But also,
we
like,
just outed we outed our significant
yeah.
others.
and you know what the funny thing is, Monica, I thought it was so funny because it happened the other day where Monica looked down, she looked back at the movie, and then she goes, "Wait, how did they get there?"
Oh
and
my
I was
God.
like,
Oh man.
I'm like, well,
yeah.
if you weren't on TikTok, maybe you'd
Oh
know.
my God. Yeah. Until that thing-
Seriously, no, man, he does.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe if we were paying attention.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, oh, well, it was because I checked my phone. She blames
No.
it on
Habitual, where it's
Yeah.
like you're
I
on
checked,
TikTok.
or like, no, not even that. Like she goes, oh, like a text message came in, and then I checked my phone, and then once I checked my phone, it was downhill from there.
Yeah.
Because then like the notifications were coming in, I started clicking everything, and then before I knew it, 45 minutes had passed, and the movie was over. And I was like, well, that's great, but
Let's wrap up our final thoughts because we're already hitting an hour 40.
I think that the show is doing a great job at trying to bring people in and trying to explain what's going on. Not only that, but also I feel like just because the lore is out there doesn't mean that the show needs to hold your hand and like bring you through the fog. I do feel like there is something fun in discovering things with the characters. And that's a storytelling thing that is just going to happen because everything shouldn't just be handed to me and spoon-fed to me. You're finding things out along with the other characters as well. Okay, cool. A, B, and then C. I feel like because they have this lore, they're going like, well, because this lore is all out there and everything else, that's why like they're gatekeeping and they're not doing everything else. It's like, no, they're telling a story. You just need to follow along with the story and let's get to its conclusion, and then we can properly like look at the full ramifications of what happened in Ahsoka. Did they explain everything? Do you want to go back to Rebels? Do you want to go to Clone Wars? Like, I love the idea of they bringing in Hugh Yang. Like the robot. It's such a small character. He's literally in 3 episodes of Clone Wars. but he's like an essential piece to this, where I was like, oh my God, that's genius. Why not bring in Hu Yang? For anybody who doesn't know, Hu Yang like helped every Jedi in the last 1,000 generations build lightsabers. He even helped Yoda build his lightsaber. And
that's how he's able to figure out the signatures of the lightsabers in episode 1.
And
there you go.
And that's how he's able to
Don't
figure
know
it
about
out.
that,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's how he understands where he's like, oh yeah,
I hate you so much.
and that's how he's able to like build
like-
lightsabers.
God,
I
hate
feel
you so
like
much.
we should do a video of Nick explaining,
Star Wars.
not Star Wars, just Ahsoka. Like, it
did
would
that-
probably hit pretty well. Just be like, Nick, describe everything you need to know before watching Ahsoka. Have Nick just explain it.
Yeah.
Good. We could do that.
Yeah.
Oh, we could. We just
Do you mind if I take the second spot?
Go
'Cause
for
I
it.
want to jump on Nick's.
Go ahead. I'm
points
gonna
on
use
this
the
one.
restroom really
Okay.
quick.
Yeah, go
So
for it.
I like that explanation because the fact that you get to discover the lore as the show's going is basically a treasure hunt as the show's going.
Right.
So I've just thought about this. Strange New Worlds puts you in a position where you don't have to know everything about the previous lore or the future lore. You get to discover it as the show goes on because it gives
Absolutely.
you hints here and there. Then I thought about Lord of the Rings because Lord of the Rings is lore intensive, right?
Mhm.
So if you watch The Hobbit and you don't know anything about the movies or the lore, you're not going to get the movie at all.
Yeah.
It's like you have to just know everything before you jump on The Hobbit. Right?
In just before you continue, just to let you know, Dave Filoni says that everything he's learned about storytelling is from Tolkien.
But that's because there's a starting point.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah,
everything. Like Ahsoka Tano is his Gandalf the Grey.
But yeah, so that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah,
That's
but
fine.
I'm just saying. So
But-
you're making the Lord of the Rings ref connection.
There it is, right?
100%. Yeah.
That's fine. But the way that Filoni tackled these first 2 episodes, and you're right, is a treasure hunt.
Mhm.
Because it's not making you feel stupid for not knowing the lore, but it's also not holding your hand and explaining everything about it. If you have a Nick, or you have access to the internet, or are even remotely interested in watching the show, Rebels and Clone Wars, you get to discover the bits and pieces of lore that matter. And when you do make that discovery, then the certain elements of the certain scenes in the show will start to make better sense.
You're like, just like the
Yes.
Hu Yang thing for you.
Exactly.
You were like,
oh, that's how, because I'm like, how does a robot know, or excuse me, how does a droid know the signatures of lightsabers and who the history of like who weld them and who made them and all these different things? Then he said, oh, it's because he's served generations of Jedi who get to make these lightsabers. I'm like,
he used to shepherd them to Ilum
Yeah.
to find their kyber crystals, and then
that
he would help
makes
them build
so
it.
much. But again, we're nerds, and you explaining that is like a connection.
Yeah, it
that
immediately
automates-
connects. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So if Ahsoka makes this a treasure hunt, I'm in for it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
But
fun.
if it makes you feel stupid at any point, I'm dropping out.
I mean, also you dropping out of a show isn't new.
Shut your mouth.
I mean, how many times have we had to wait on Brian for finishing up the show so we can review it?
I'm catching up on wrestling.
There's so much wrestling, you're
Ah,
never
so
gonna
much
catch
wrestling.
up.
No, I am.
No, he's almost there.
He's almost there.
You're
yeah.
almost there now. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
I
you
think I
finished
like-
SummerSlam, right?
No, I'm halfway through SummerSlam.
Okay, yeah, he's not gonna catch up. no, you are.
All right, what's your last thought?
What?
What are your
Oh, it's
final
my
thoughts?
turn. Oh, yeah, finally. So here's my review. It's good. So thank you guys for watching.
No, but give me a legit review.
No, like a legit review. Honestly, I didn't have a hard time following it. For me personally, just those 2 questions that I had. I'm kind of disappointed that in the marketing of this show they showed General Thrawn, like that little glimpse of him, of how the actor looks. I wish they would have held off on revealing him, because I would have liked seeing it for the first time live action on the show and stuff
Thrawn.
like Thrawn. Boom. You know, I was really afraid they were going to show like a hint of him at the end of the 2nd episode, but I'm glad they're holding off right now.
Is it bad that I don't want him into like episode 6?
No,
Like,
I completely no.
I want like
same.
I want him in like the back end of the season.
No, same.
we-
Like, yeah, because I'm looking at it right now because Dave Filoni wrote them all. I think he's gonna get revealed in episode 5 because Dave Filoni's directing that one.
that makes sense.
And then I just realized
My child.
episode 8, Rick.
Famawea.
Yeah, he's directing the last episode, which he's done plenty of good episodes on The Mandalorian. You know, so I'm excited to see what the last episode is gonna hold, because he always does like these just great moments in when it comes to shows.
He has some great action scenes too.
Oh, definitely.
He knows he definitely knows how to move the camera around and make a action scene very dynamic.
Oh yeah.
I also have a feeling that episode 5 is when we're gonna get Christensen.
Oh really?
Hayden Christensen, because it's reported that he filmed some scenes. Not only that, but also Ashley Estein also filmed some scenes. And what was it? She's taken a photo with Rosario Dawson and also with Hayden Christensen.
So we're gonna get a flashback?
So I think we're gonna get a flashback to it because
during the Clone Wars?
because Balin is from the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And he knew Anakin. So I think we are gonna get it. And what I really want, because I think that's just genius of Dave, is to give the audience what they want and to put Ashley Estein as a younger Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Because she's smaller and she doesn't necessarily have that, like, you know, because she is kind of petite, to dress her up and then go, this is young Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And then she's with Anakin.
Okay.
What a freaking nerd.
Hold on, that's awesome. That would automatically fans would go like, oh my god, that's like everything I've ever wanted. Yeah. And all she needs to do is say Sky Guy once, and that's it.
Can you do me a favor?
And also Hayden Christensen to say Snips.
That'd be
really cool.
Can you look into that camera? And before we wrap up the show,
I am a nerd, and and I'm okay with that.
No, that's not what I want. I want you to address the people that believe that the Inquisitor in episode 2 is Ezra Miller.
Oh my. Is Ezra Bridger? Yeah, you're a moron.
Ezra Bridger. Sorry.
I saw like 9.
Why do I keep saying Ezra Miller?
Because you want to say Ezra Miller.
Sorry, Ezra Bridger.
Because you were thinking of monsters and then immediately you thought of bad guys and then you were like Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller.
No,
calm out.
If anybody thinks that's possible, I get it. You didn't watch Rebels.
I get it. You don't know Star Wars.
No. It's not that you don't know Star Wars. I think it's just you're not caught up on Rebels and everything else.
And your reply, if it's true.
Oh my god, dude, I would be so upset.
Yeah. On air with Star Wars.
No, I would be very disappointed in Dave because I feel like Dave built a story, and not only that, I feel like Ezra has already had his troubles with the dark side. He's already battled the dark side. He's already chosen different, and he chose everything else. Literally in the last couple of episodes of Rebels, Palpatine even offers him his family. He offers him his dead parents back. And Ezra says no to Palpatine, and he destroys the temple, and he does all these other things. There's just so many things that have tempted Ezra to become a Sith or become this like dark Jedi, this dark Force user, and he's battled it and come above it, and he understands the sacrifices that Jedi have to make, because that's a major thing that he even says inside of the show, where he says, as a Jedi, there are some decisions that I have to make. And there's some things that I have to do. And I think if they were like, oh, well, him spending all those years with Thrawn turned him evil, Ezra has a stronger will and he's more tenacious than that. And I feel that if they were to make him an inquisitor or something that he hated, especially not only that, but also work for the people that murdered his master, that would be totally against like his entire thing. Also that enslaved his planet. His main thing in the entirety of Rebels is to free Lothal from the Empire, and his dying and him sacrificing himself with Thrawn completes that. So why would I join the Empire and join Thrawn when that was my ultimate mission? It makes no sense.
He really felt that, because I wanted him to do something funny. Instead, he just gave us a lecture.
No.
Thanks, dude. You know what?
I mean, I'm sorry.
I wanted you to yell at the camera and be like, listen here, you son of a bitch.
Listen here, you son of a bitch.
You're wrong.
You're wrong. You don't know Star Wars.
Force choke you behind the camera.
Force choke that wee.
Let's wrap up the show. Thank you so much for joining us here at Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 162. Don't forget to check out our website at keepingupwiththenerds.com. Follow us on our socials, Instagram, Facebook, X, and Threads. Also check out our YouTube channel. Every time. YouTube.
Oh God, there's 3 of them. No.
/ keeping up with the nerds, so you guys can check out the skits when they're posted, and go subscribe. Leave a comment down below what you guys think of Gran Turismo if you saw it, or Ahsoka if you're on board with it or not. And if you guys are on the go, follow us on our audio platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, and Spotify. With that said, Nick, are you ready to sign us out?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go.
This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 162. My name is Nick Valero.
Rene.
This is Brian.
Signing off from Under City Comics. We'll see you all next time.